Good evening from Tad Gormley Stadium for a very big football game to end the high school regular season schedule. Actually starts the final week of the season tonight at City Park as it's Edna Card, the defending Class 4A state champions, against Warren Easton. Both of these teams in the top 3 in the state power ratings, going for a District 9 4A title tonight. Outstanding programs, plenty of talent, great coaching staffs, and we think here at Crescent City Sports a great way to wrap up our regular season coverage of high school football this season before we bring you postseason action as well. I am Jude Young, to be joined in a moment by Terrence Jones, the former Lutcher High School and Tulane star quarterback and Sports Hall of Famer in Greater New Orleans by the All-State Sugar Bowl, to give his analysis for this one tonight. But first, we want to hear from the two head coaches of these programs and two guys who have been in charge of the programs not very long, but they've done a lot in a short amount of time with programs they're very intimately involved with. Starting with Bryce Brown, the head coach of Edna Card in his 3rd season, but he's been the local Coach of the Year by multiple outlets the past 2 seasons, including leading the Cougars to a 14-0 season last year. And then on the flip side, a Carr graduate, Jerry Phillips, coming over to Warren Easton when that program was built under Tony Hullen. Now in his 2nd season, has this club primed to try to win a state title. Let's hear from coaches Bryce Brown and Jerry Phillips with Ken Trahan of Crescent City Sports to help preview tonight's game.
Ken Trahan with Edna Card head coach Bryce Brown. Bryce, big game, of course, with Warren Easton. You've been there, done that before. You're the reigning champions, and you don't mind kind of laying in the weeds and being ranked below them by the sports writers and everything else, right?
You know, I like being ranked other than number 1 because it takes less pressure off us. I think, anytime that you play a good Warren Easton team, a good McDonald 35 team, good De La Salle, it gets you ready to play these games. I think this game will show us a lot. If we're ready to compete for a state championship again this year. And it will also show Warren Easton the same thing. I think for both teams with excellent coaching and superior athletes, I think this is the way it should be. It should be 2 great teams just going toe-to-toe and playing and competing for 4 quarters.
Obviously, the challenges are clear. They have really good players on offense, starting with the quarterback, Lance Lejean, who's as good as I've seen this year. Good receivers, too, and yet last year you contained them well and beat them handily.
Yeah, looking at film, it looked like we're playing call on film. Having coached so many dual threat quarterbacks that could get out of the pocket and extend that play, it's been difficult for us to simulate at practice Lance's athleticism and then be able to throw the ball on a rope down the field. So, we're really practicing on that and really trying to maintain and keep him in the pocket. I think offensively we have to be able to run the football, but also being able to convert on 3rd down is going to also be key to the success of this game.
You being a running team the last couple of years has taken you to the next level, and yet everybody wondered about your quarterback position this year, and Skyler has come on and played well for you.
Yeah, he's been really efficient this year. I think his best efficiency is yet to come, though. I think, the guys around him, the wideouts, are young and inexperienced. So we'll see how they handle this environment on Thursday. It's going to be a state championship-type game, but it's not the state championship game. I think, we have to take the emotion out of it and really concentrate on the plan and just doing your job.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Ken Trahan with Warren Easton head coach Jerry Phillips. And Jerry, obviously big game, highly anticipated. I know that they're the reigning champions, and to be the best, you've got to beat the best, right?
You have to beat the best. They are the champions until someone beats them. Real good team, real great coach team. I think Coach Bryce Brown is one of the best offensive minds in the state. Still trying to figure out what he's going to do to me new. I know he has something up his sleeve, and I'm pulling all my hair out trying to figure that out. But I think it's going to be a good game. It's turned into somewhat of a rivalry the past 2 or 3 years, because before that they just used to, do us dirty. They used to beat us pretty bad. But now we're starting to compete. The guys are starting to buy in. So I think it's going to be a real good game.
The ties that bind between the two programs, from Don Watney to your assistant coaches from Card to yourself to Bryce, clearly there's a bunch of ties here.
Yeah, a whole bunch of ties. I'm a former Card guy. My defensive line coach, Noel Ellis, he was actually a coach on the state championship team last year. My quarterback coach, Munchie Lego, was one of his assistants maybe 2 years ago. So there's a lot of ties and a lot of bragging rights going into this game. So I'm pretty sure they're working real hard because I know my guys are working real hard to win this game. And not only for that, just to win this district championship. That's kind of like been a bridge we couldn't cross because Carr has just been so dominant in the city and in the state. So we really want to get that district championship.
Does the familiarity with the Carr program that your coaches have help you in terms of preparation?
It does. It does. And it's been so good that I have one on offense and one on defense. So they really been catching the coaches up, and I've been really trying to feed into my kids to just understand that Carr tradition because, you know, when it comes down to it, that all plays a part into it. And those kids over there in Carr, I know from experience, they really play for that school and they really play for the name on the front of that jersey. So it really means something to them. And I try to get my kids to understand that we have to match their level of intensity.
If you're going to win finally, what is it that you're going to have to do to beat this team?
We're going to have to play good in all three phases of the game, especially defensively. Like I said, Coach Bryce is a hell of a coach, but all three phases of the game, we're going to have to be excellent.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Really good insight into the connections between these two programs as you see mirror images when you look at these two teams and the way they play on both sides of the ball because of that Carr connection with Warren Easton. Jude Young joined by Terrence Jones now. And Terrence, when you look at these two teams, you see so much talent. College recruiters see so much talent. But more than that, you see well-coached football teams. And as a former quarterback yourself, two outstanding dual threats and in offenses that you really, if you're that type of talent, you want to be able to have the opportunity to play in.
The beauty of it is this. Those coaches know that they have the talent to go and utilize those players in the position to be successful. What a great night to have former players, former coaches from rival schools playing against each other again tonight. And the talent on the field speaks for itself. Their record speaks for itself. Their teams are well coached. Their players are well coached as well. Players are well mannered in terms of playing clean football. And all those things matters on this level of football. And I think each coach has done a great job. Both of them are young in terms of the head coaching jobs that they're doing at each respective school. But for this event to happen the way it's ended up happening in terms of the records for each coach and what's at stake, I think it's going to make for a good night tonight.
No question about it. The teams know each other well. As Coach Phillips mentioned, he knows that Bryce Brown will have something special or two that they haven't seen on film this year, and I'm sure the flip side is true of Warren Easton as well. Both of these teams awfully good. One loss apiece on the year. Warren Easton 7-1. Carr is 8-1. They're both 3-0 and 9-4A. So a district title on the line tonight. But in the power ratings, at least the unofficial ones, we'll know what really matters in those coming up on Sunday when the playoff brackets are released. In Class 5A, though, Warren Easton is number 2. Edna Carr is number 3, so a win tonight could give the edge in a potential matchup down the line in the postseason. It's much harder if you're a Warren Easton, if you have to play for an opportunity perhaps to go to the Dome. You don't want to have to go to Berman Stadium in Algiers in that rowdy environment, such a tough place to play Edna Carr. And on the flip side, the comfort of home for Warren Easton playing many of their games here at City Park, and Tad Gormley in particular. I think they'd like a repeat of that in the postseason by taking advantage of it if they can tonight. Let's take a look at these two quarterbacks because they will be key in the contest. Somebody who's gotten all of the pub locally and deserved it because of his great play so far this season is Lance Legendre of Warren Easton. The 6'2", 200-pound junior has had an outstanding year. 16 touchdowns passing with just 2 interceptions, another 7 on the ground. He is the cog that leads the offense, close to 2,000 total yards for the Eagles at this point. And on the flip side, a guy who keeps getting better and better that I know, Terrence, you have a little bit of familiarity with from a Tulane angle, and that is Skylar Perry, the 6'2 senior, waited his turn and now has an opportunity to play. And he has 20 total touchdowns this year, including 14 through the air, just 3 interceptions. Both of them can do it with their legs and with their arms, and they make these offenses go. And
what strikes me, what stands out to me is that they both haven't turned the ball over as much. Their touchdown to interception ratio is phenomenal. Okay, so that's what makes their offense tick on both sides of football, and they're great athletes And so when you have those type of athletes commanding your offense, managing the game, great things will happen on the offensive side of football. Not only that, you will have the defense resting on the sideline. Now, tonight, because of the style of play each team's play, because of the athleticism that each team will display, you don't know what you're going to get tonight. Now, in these type of games, you have 3 or 4 big plays always determine the end result of the game. So I'm looking forward to a very explosive game tonight from both sides, and who makes the smallest amount of mistakes will probably come up victorious.
Certainly, that's usually the case in most big games with 2 evenly matched teams like we appear to have here tonight, as we take a moment now to pause and join our public address announcer for the pregame festivities.
In the state of Louisiana. Now please rise and remove your hats to the honorable merit for the playing of our national anthem by the Warren Easton Charter High School Marching Band.
Well, we're about ready for action here as 2 outstanding bands that you'll get an opportunity to hear plenty of in the background as well tonight. Another part of the passion and excitement of a matchup like this. The lanyap, if you will, in the stadium tonight at Tad Gormley, as Edna Karr in the road whites tonight with black pants and dark helmets, and Warren Easton, of course, the home team. The East Bank squad against the outstanding Orleans Parish West Bank squad will be wearing their gold helmets with two-tone looking dark uniforms with the numbers. So we'll struggle a little bit with that tonight, but we'll do the best we can to make sure we identify the Eagles properly as they're set to kick off to start off this ball game from our left to our right in the home press box in City Park. And Karr will receive, and back to receive will be Kalfani Simmons along with Ronnie Jackson. And Jackson, one of the leading rushers for Karr and a dangerous threat in the open field. Actually, it looks like there's been a change for Karr with their return team, so it'll be Devin Bush, outstanding, highly recruited defensive back, who will be back to receive, along with Jackson, is ready to start this game off. And to kick it away for Warren Easton will be Jamal Sam, who doubles also as the strong safety for the Eagles defensively, and he kicks it away down the center of the field, a line drive that's over the head both Karr return men and through the back of the end zone for a touchback. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars at their own 20-yard line to start this game off. And we talked about him a moment ago. It'll be Skylar Perry behind center, the quarterback for Karr, leading the offense out onto the field tonight and really leading the way. Ahmad Antoine will get the start next to him in the backfield. And the key receiver to watch is Anthony Spurlock, an Oregon State commitment at 6'1", 150, the senior with over 500 yards receiving. But more importantly, an explosive player with nearly 25 yards per catch so far this year. But don't be surprised if we see both teams stick to the ground game early and try not to make those mistakes you were talking about.
Just trying to establish the ground game so the passing game can be open up.
First snap of the ball game, and it's a handoff to Antoine, who's stacked up in the backfield for a loss of about 3. So right away, we see penetration up front for Warren Easton. And again, Easton is so good and fast on both sides of the ball. They like their opportunity in this matchup to be able to win in the trenches, particularly on offense when we start talking about that O-line and the size involved once we get there. But Karr now facing 2nd and 13 from their own 17. And this time a play-action fake, and Perry will throw in the left. He throws over the middle. Had his man, but a bit behind him, intended for Spurlock, who was open at the 35, but not an accurate throw for the first opportunity for Perry.
Really was. He missed him on the crossing route there. They had trips to the field, the single guy to the boundary, and a run-pass option, and they decided to throw it. So he missed him that time. but I'm sure they're going to come back to that play.
Maybe a half a beat late there with the throw after the play action fake. Now Carr facing 3rd and long, 13 at their own 17, and you see the 2 wide receivers to each side, the one back in the backfield, and a straight drop back this time from Perry. Fires over the middle into a zone coverage, and it's tipped and incomplete, and that time bracketing the receiver. 4 different Eagles around the 30.
Another balanced set for Carr, and they came out, again, looking to throw to the weak side of the field. It was a great defensive lineup there.
Pass was intended for Michael Corner, but again, tough to deal with 3rd and long against the speed of the Easton defense, and Carr will deal with the 3 and out by putting the punt team on the field, and it'll be, I believe, Anthony Spurlock who will punt it away from inside his own 5-yard line. High snap, and he gets it away under that heavy pressure, end over end, but not very far. Will hit at the 38 and take a bounce in favor of Warren Easton and be downed at the 33-yard line. So just what the doctor ordered, if you're Easton, your defense steps up and gives you great field position to start the ball game.
Again, great field position here for Warren Easton, and it's dangerous for Carr to have let that happen early on in the game here because it's such an explosive game. Now, Easton should take advantage of this field position and go ahead and get 3 or at least 7 points.
And that'll give Lance Lejeune, the quarterback for the Eagles, an opportunity right away to pick his poison here against the Carr defense, and the 4-man front on 1st down, and Lejeune will look to put it in the air. Under pressure, fires over the middle, and it's intercepted. And Carr bringing it back the other way to the 30-yard line where the tackle's made. That thrown into coverage, and Carr comes up with the big turnover right away. And Chance Carroll, the senior, with his team-leading 4th interception of the year, and it looked like Lejeune tried to force one there.
Well, it was a zone deep in the backfield there, a defensive backfield coverage. He tried to hit the seam route, but obviously he was late. That ball should have been out of his hands as soon as the receiver crossed the linebacker's face. But great play by the Carr defense.
18-yard return up to the 30, and Carr with a response defensively on Easton's first play from scrimmage just a minute into this game, 2nd position for the Cougars. Wow. And a handoff and room to move to the 40 near midfield and into Easton territory right off the right side. Simple handoff, and the running game gets it going as it is a big gainer of 32 yards on the play on the first touch for junior running back Ronnie Jackson.
Great play up the middle there, and again, they're establishing a running game to set up their pass.
And they will get on the ball quickly. Both teams will go mostly with no huddle looks tonight, but Jackson officially with a gain and a big game of 24 yards. And the first snap in Easton territory is a keeper.
Skyler.
And Perry's got plenty of room down the right sideline, out of bounds at the 20, and 2 big gashing runs off the right side have Carr in business just like that. In 25 seconds, they've driven 50 yards and will set up right outside the Easton red zone.
Once again, Skyler with a run pass option, RPO here, and he pulled it out. Great read on his part on the right side there.
Carr will try to keep the pressure on here and check with me to the sideline. And new instructions barked out. Looks like Antoine's the back next to Perry, and he will step up to block as Perry looks to throw near sideline towards the end zone and off target, incomplete inside the pylon there. Is a tough pass to try to make across the field and well covered by the secondary.
Yeah, definitely looked like you're in a 2 zone right there. Corner route by the inside receiver was just a little off by Perry with the pass there.
And tough throw to make, as mentioned there by Perry, but he's got a pretty good arm. And we've seen him make something happen with his legs here early on. It's 2nd and 10 now at the 21 of Easton as Carr looks to strike first. 90 seconds into this game, and they'll keep it on the ground and not much going on. Although a good push there by Ahmad Antoine inside the 20 and getting what he can to about the 19.
Great play there by Warren Easton, deep interior lineman there, stuffing it up there. And now Carr will have to get creative here. 3rd and 10.
They will again take their time with the signals from the near sideline. The visiting team for this ball game tonight in white if you're just joining us in a scoreless game. 3rd and 8 from the 19 for Carr. Perry drops and has a man wide open, and it's Jackson at the 15. Good tackle to prevent more, but he has enough for the first down to the 10-yard line. They needed 8. They got 9.
Well, in that instance, Carr was in a three rotation at the top of the field, and Warren Easton defense was in the zone. Great read by Perry underneath there.
Able to check down to his back, who slipped wide open in the flat, setting up 1st and goal from the 10. Now Perry will hand it off and trying to jump over a tackler, but Jackson corralled inside the 10, maybe got a yard on the play, but very close to breaking that one into the end zone.
Yes. Again, run pass option is going to be the theme tonight on both sides of football. I mean, both sides teams. And Perry so far has been successful.
We'll often see Carr line up quickly on the ball, look like they're about to snap, and then gain new instructions from the sideline as we do here on 2nd and goal. Fake, and Perry will throw over the middle and too high. Spurlock was open inside the goal line, but Perry overshot his man.
He needs to settle down a little bit and step into his throws. It seems like he's a bit hurry here. These are timing patterns, and you have to get it on the button because as soon as you receive a pass, the linebacker, the ball should be delivered.
Spurlock more than willing to work the middle of the field for him, but there are other weapons that can come into play, and we'll see if they do on 3rd and goal from the right hash here. Ball spotted inside the 10. Perry waggles to his left, throws, and has a man open in the flat near the goal line, and brought down just short of the goal line was Jackson. Again, the back slipping out open and having some space.
Yes.
And now a decision for Carr, and I think it'll probably be an easy one as it's down to about the 1.5-yard line, maybe close to the 1, 4th and goal, and the Cougars are keeping the offense on the field.
The Carr is running big.
And they will quick snap here and try to run the football, and it will depend on the push.
Depend on the spot.
Very close to the goal line, and the signal is touchdown, Terrence.
Well, again, interior lineman did a great job for Carr, and Easton could not hold him up there towards the end.
And you saw this time going with a quick play and able to hand off the football, and Jackson able to push his way across the goal line as he did some of the heavy lifting late in that drive with a couple of catches, and cashes in with the 1-yard touchdown to put Carr on the board first with 8:14 to go in the first quarter. Carr driving 70 yards after the turnover forced when Easton had the ball deep in Cougars territory. Now the extra point try is up, and Aaron Foster will boot it through, and Carr enjoys a 7-0 lead here early on as on their 2nd possession. And they're able to put a good drive together with some balance, although the running game did a lot of the heavy lifting early. It was a couple of key passes and good decisions by Skylar Perry, Terrence, that was important. He didn't force the ball when the short option was there. Give a guy like Jackson an opportunity to make it happen in space.
And that's what he did. He managed that series pretty good for Carr, and he made some pretty good throws in tight coverages. He also made a good long run there on his part, used his legs, and now I think he's getting time to settle down more, so to read defenses, because now Warren Easton is now going to get really creative, I'm sure, with their defensive play. But a great series off of an interception by Carr.
Chance Carroll, again, as mentioned, now with 4 interceptions on the year, picking off Lance Lejeune. And Carr able to take the momentum right back and march 70 yards for the score. We're happy you could join us here on CrescentCitySports.com. Want a bank that was ranked near the top of the nation for business banking? Hancock and Whitney Bank has you covered with nearly 200 locations across the Gulf South. So stop by today, learn more at HancockWhitney.com as the short kick is taken inside the 30, and not much running room there for the Easton up back, and Easton will take control at their own 31-yard line for their 2nd possession of the contest.
Easton have to establish something right here now offensively. Either they're going to start with their running game or their passing game so they can get some momentum before this quarter ends, and so to give themselves confidence. It's still early, a lot of football left.
And this has been an explosive offense that in district play has scored no fewer than 35 points. And last week against a Helen Cox team that's gotten better and better, 54 points on the board as this is a handoff that gains good yardage, simple play up the middle, close to 5 yards on 1st down.
Great play by Celestine, Carr's defense. But yes, good play, opening play of the series for Legendre.
And letting Lance Lejeune perhaps get an opportunity
Lejeune. I'm sorry.
to calm down a little bit after the early interception. outstanding talent, just a junior. More and more major colleges are keenly interested in him as he barks out the signals with a pistol look this time on 2nd and 5, and a high snap, but has time to throw. Now flush from the pocket, and he will try to run. Flag on the play, as Lejean does have a first down near sideline or close to it at the 41, but it looks like this one's coming back for a hold on Warren Easton.
Quad set, nobody was open, and Legendre did exactly what he should have done. Pulled it down, tried to make something happen, but as you mentioned, that play is coming back. That was a holding.
And it'll be interesting to see if Easton can't stay on schedule. And when they do have an opportunity, like we saw there at 2nd and 5, they have a big offensive line, but perhaps the speed of Carr up front can give them problems with the pass rush, as we saw right there. And this will march them back to around their 20-yard line. So instead of a first down, they'll have 2nd and about 15, close to their 20.
Quad set again.
And Lejean with the back to his right will take the snap and look to throw quickly, and does, but a tackle made immediately at the 25. And there's the speed of that Carr secondary, probably the strength of their defense. You've got to take what they give, and it'll be up to Lejean to make those quick throws accurately.
And that's what he did. That's what he needs to do. Take a little bit at a time. No need to rush. Get yourself in rhythm.
And the ability to give yourself a chance here on 3rd down after gaining about 5, but still 3rd and very long, 16. Is now under pressure. Lejean will barely escape the pocket, stumbling now, pointing for receivers down the field. We'll throw it up for grabs. A receiver open. The jump ball goes through the hands of a wide open man inside the 30 of Carr. And now we will check and see what the flag is.
Holding. Usually when the quarterback is scrambling around, I know for a fact when the quarterback is scrambling around like that, usually it's a holding.
and you want the big guys up front to protect you.
Exactly.
Save my life if it takes a yellow Hankley, so be it.
Because they have a clock. Offensive linemen have a clock in their head as well. That ball should be gone, or the quarterback is taking off with it. So sometimes, that clock goes off in the lineman's head, and unfortunately this time there was holding.
And with the drop, the penalty declined, so it'll be 4th down, and Easton will have to punt it away for the first time tonight. And again, both of these special teams have versatile players handling the kicking duties. In this case, Larry Barabino, a running back. Also the punter for Easton as he stands and takes a high snap inside his 10. And it's blocked into the end zone. Can Carr fall on it before it goes through the back of the end zone? They can. Touchdown. Edna Carr. The special teams comes through with the huge play. And the score on the play is made by Bilal Muhammad, the junior, who came up with it after the block.
Once again, special teams play determines a big portion of any football game. You have to shore up your middle interior alignment on the special teams on the punt, and Warren Easton did not do that. Carr came through the middle successfully. Big play in the game early on here.
Yeah, it's one thing to not be able to convert in the place kicking game, but
player down.
Your punt team is always under stress here in big games not to make the big error, and that time the jailbreak leads to a touchdown for Carr, and it is an injured player for Warren Easton, and we'll try to get a number as he's attended to by the training staff for you. And we're hoping it's just a cramp or something of that variety as he's helped off the field without his helmet, and that
looks good.
Is a senior, Tyree Tanner, a cornerback. Looks like he's going to be okay as he walks off under his own power. But will Warren Easton be okay as they're perhaps facing going down 2 full scores here early in the first quarter?
And not a good thing if you're Warren Easton. Coaches have to reassemble themselves, get the players to calm down, and get some drives going. That's all they need right about now. Get some drives going, get their confidence back so they can get back into this football game.
Plenty of time in the ball game as Aaron Foster tries to make it 2 for 2 on PATs. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it is blocked. So that will keep it at 13-0 here in the first quarter in favor of Edna Carr. And when we talk about Carr and their outstanding season last year at 14-0, Their only loss, a game that was aired here on CrescentCitySports.com, in which they fell behind an outstanding De La Salle squad, 21-0, and were a 2-point conversion attempt away from forcing overtime, falling 28-26. That's the only blemish on their schedule. Impressive victories include probably the best one, 24-0 over Algiers rival Landry Walker. This program's used to winning.
When talking to Coach Brown before the game, that's what he said exactly. The history is there. They just have to continue it. The transition you get sometimes in high school, some of the kids leave, the talent drops off a little bit, but obviously last year they didn't drop off that much, and you can tell by the season they're having this year. And they're a confident bunch right about now, especially tonight. So we will see how this thing's going to play out the rest of the night.
Easton, now under pressure, will receive another short kickoff that's taken by an up-back at the 30, and running straight ahead and getting what he can past the 35 will set up shop for Warren Easton for this possession at their 36-yard line. And now we see about the maturity of Lance Lejeune, the junior, leading this offense. And we said it already, there's no need to panic, but you'd think Easton would want to try to get the running game going.
Well,
right
they
here.
have to establish something. Whether it's a running game or passing game, something needs to be established again, because you need some consistency either in the air or on the ground, so that way your confidence level can get back as it was before the game started. Trips to the top.
As Lejeune will have it back to his left.
Trips to the top, run past
And we'll hand it off and have some room to run past the 40. Nice job there as DeWitt Johnson, the 5'9 junior, able to run straight ahead and get what he can. And that's what you want to do.
Great read by Lejeune on that play. Weak side handoff. And they got some positive yardages on that one.
And the threat of Lejeune as a runner, if he makes the right decisions, there'll be opportunities to just continue to gobble up yards and move the chains. And that's what the Eagles need here, trailing by 13 early. They'll keep it on the ground again. And once again, good room. That a simple handoff straight ahead for DeWitt Johnson as he's passed the sticks for a first down. 2 runs, 12 yards. And close to midfield. 2
good plays by Warren Easton right there. They had trips to the field and they run weak side and got some positive yardages. And they should continue to be creative offensively to give them a different look. We give defense a different look. Sometimes they're not prepared for them.
They continue to keep Carr spread out with those trips up top, and they'll go to the ground game again and weaving through traffic into Carr territory. Again, DeWitt Johnson not being touched till he's past the line of scrimmage. The big guys up front are doing their job for Warren Easton.
So they're getting something established. They're moving the change. They're in front of the change, which is good. That's small increments in terms of something positive, and they're moving the change. That's always positive on the offensive side of football.
This offensive line, each and every starter, at least 300 pounds. That's a lot of beef.
That's a lot of beef there.
Yeah, I mean, for the college level, much less the high school level, it's a quick screen slung out to the far side left and some room to move and some nifty running close to another first down. As that time they go to the quick pass, and it's blocked well by the receivers up top.
Another trip to the field formation. And it proves dividends for them again. Positive dividends for them again.
Looks like they're going to say it's about a half a yard short of the first down. Catch made on the play by Sheldon Sticks-Jones, the top receiver for Easton. They want to get the ball in the UTSA commitment's hands. The senior now close to 600 yards on the season through the air. Second and short pistol look for Easton.
Good one.
Lejeune looking deep and has a man open down the sidelines and has it through the arms in the end zone. What could have been 6, 2 steps there. And unfortunately for Easton, the play is not made, as that time Lejeune showing off the arm and the accuracy down the field.
Well, you could not lay the ball better than what he did in the breadbasket. That receiver had to come up with the football. Great play and great toss by Lejeune.
It looks like that was Damian Tate, who's an outstanding threat. They try to get the ball in his hands many ways, mostly on defense, as they go to the ground gain on 3rd and short, and they will not even get back to the line of scrimmage as Carr all over things and led up front by the McNeese State commitment Ronell Burbank, and he had help.
Great play by Mr. Burbank there. Interior lineman there. They did not fold. They bend a little bit on these series, just passed, and but they came up defensively.
Tough break there on
Great pass by LeJean.
4th and short after the big play down the field wasn't made by Tate. So now Carr with a 13-point lead and the football at their own 43-yard line as Easton tried to work quickly. And we're not able to convert in short yardage, and everything's going the Cougars' way as Perry waits for the snap. Man in motion now coming in front of him, and a handoff will be made up the middle and nothing doing. Maybe a gain of 1 on the play as it looked
that time
like
July Howard came on a jet sweep fake to the field, but it was just a handoff off the middle. Great play by Warren Easton defense.
As Antoine was bottled up there. Jackson and Antoine do a fine job of carrying the load together, both coming into this game with exactly 690 yards on the ground, and we've seen a little bit of both of them here in the first quarter as Carr has been effective with the running game and dump-offs to both of these outstanding backs, but now facing a 2nd and 9, and this time Perry will hand it off again, and once more Easton up to the challenge up front, maybe a gain of 1 on the play to the 45.
Great play by Josh Williams for Easton. He read that play all the way until he was up for a tackle.
And sometimes you wonder whether those are designed runs as opposed to an
format,
option for the quarterback.
Well, it's run pass option, so he had the option to run it, pass it. Obviously, he decided to hand it off, and Warren Easton defense was there waiting for him.
Looks like they're showing blitz up front. Couple linebackers creeping up.
Go.
And Perry under pressure will throw deep down the near sideline. It's underthrown, but caught inside the 20 and trying to hold him up for dear life if he can. Michael Corner making the play, beating Chester Kimbrough. Huge play in the passing game for Carr as they continue to come up big in this first quarter.
So, what Perry does, throws it up, let my receiver beat the cornerback. And they came up victorious on that long pass and catch.
Gain of 39 on the play, and again, Carr's just making plays here.
Exactly. They're making the plays. Easton is reacting.
And it looks like we'll have a timeout by Warren Easton as they need to regroup here. They understand the severity of this situation. Carr knocking on the door to go up 3 scores.
With a game like this, where the motion is running so high, you have to minimize big plays. And right there and there, you saw a big play by Carr. And now Easton, all they have to do, their defense has been on the field for quite an amount of time tonight here. And so what they have to do now is get back to their sound defense and just play coverage. At that time, the coverage was there by Gordon, I believe it is. But, Corner. But at the same time, you throw up to one of your best players. Let's see who wins. And Carr came up victorious on that.
And that's the risk of coming with the blitz there on 3rd and long. Easton didn't get there. And like you mentioned, Perry just giving his guy a chance to beat their guy for the big play. And it works to perfection as it wasn't the perfect ball, but it was what was needed for Corner to win the battle. And now after the timeout, Carr knocking on the door again. 1st and 10 from the Easton 16. Again, 2 wide receivers to each side. Now 1 in motion at Spurlock to the far side, and Perry will throw Spurlock's way and overshoot him incomplete. As that time the timing looked a little thrown off by the snap.
It was off. Faked the jet sweep underneath there and hit him on the quick screen to the field.
Want the bank named Gambit's best local financial institution in 2016? Then you won Hancock and Whitney Bank with nearly 200 locations across the Gulf South. So stop by today. Learn more at HancockWhitney.com. So one of the rare mistakes here for the Carr unit on offense so far. They've done a fine job since the first possession and had some help from special teams as all 3 facets cashing in for Carr. This time Perry will keep, and it's been there, and we saw it earlier on the drive, and this time Perry takes advantage inside the 10 and close to another Carr first down.
Well, at that time, there's another quad set by the Carr offense. Easton was in the zone, so what would Perry do? Run pass option up the middle, he keeps it.
Now 3rd and 1, Carr will go quickly, and it'll be a play, actually will be a handoff to Jackson, and Jackson spinning and trying to stay alive, and does stay alive for the first down. He did it all on his own. Looked like he was going to lose 2. He gets to the 5 and gains 2. 1st and goal, Carr.
Jackson wanted it more. Good play by Carr.
he taps himself out here after that hard run. And, hey, that's what Carr can do to you. They just go to Ahmad Antoine, and the beat goes on as they have 1st and goal now. And trying to go up 3 touchdowns in this first quarter. A surprising start. We expected a close one, but it's been all Carr so far, with 1:28 and counting in the first quarter against Spurlock in motion. And the fake handoff going the other way instead from Spurlock to pitch, and Antoine stacked up as that play was covered in all aspects really well by Easton in tight quarters.
Jet sweep there, fake, and trying to run past the option. Obviously, pitch it out to the running back. And Warren Easton defense was all over that one.
Every man was accounted for. It's tougher to run close to the goal line, so we'll see what Carr comes up with. They've had some success running straight ahead.
You're right, Jules. Down here, it's a quick hitter. You cannot get too creative. You got to just get the ball in the hands of the best players and make things happen, because you don't have any real estate down here on the goal line, the red zone.
And near side, we'll keep an eye on Spurlock. In particular, a passing threat, but instead Perry will keep it, slip the tackler, dive towards the goal line. Does he get in? They're going to say, I think, just short inside the 1 as he reached the ball out towards the goal line. And another good decision by Perry, who's a slippery runner. He knows how to avoid those big hits and keep moving forward. And that time, very close to another Carr touchdown. And we'll see if they go quickly again here on 3rd and goal inside the 1. It is Antoine the back to the right of Perry, and it is Antoine who's stacked up for a loss. Big play.
That was a big play by Easton's defense. This is going to be 4-down territory here for
immediate
Carr.
Penetration there in the middle of the front for Easton. And now we'll see what Carr comes up with after a loss of 2 on 4th and 3, but not before the end of this first quarter.
Yes.
So some time to think about it for both sides, and what's a huge play in this game. Easton desperately needs a stop. Trailing Edna Carr 13-0 after 12 minutes here at City Park. And we're glad you could join us tonight on CrescentCitySports.com. Jude Young along with Terrence Jones. And we want to remind you that this portion of Crescent City Sports Prep Football is presented by Ye Olde College Inn and Rockin' Bowl. Catch Groovy 7 Friday night and Latin night with Asheson Saturday at Rockin' Bowl. And every Tuesday, it's the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation Quarterback Club luncheons at noon. It's really great speakers talking about all the local football and great lunch as well. They do a fantastic job with food at both of those establishments. Johnny Blanchard and his family have it going on Carrollton Avenue, and we'd love to see you for the Quarterback Club, in particular on Tuesdays at noon, as we now think about how Warren Easton's feeling right now. The pressure of this moment and this play to try to really perhaps keep themselves in the game.
Now, the pressure right now is on both teams. Now, Carr has to put it in the end zone to extend not only the emotional win, but the points favor right here by now. Easton, on the other hand, they have to come up with a big defensive stop right here, because then the tide will change in terms of momentum. Because right now, there's all the momentum in Carr's favor. Easton has to make a big stop here.
Carr's receivers, and they utilize 5 quite often in this offense, led by Spurlock, but not tree toppers, if you will, although Spurlock is the tallest at 6'1". Perhaps they try to get him matched up here after the loss. They were inside the 1 on 3rd down a moment ago. Now it's 4th and goal from the 3. Perhaps you go into your bag of 2-point conversion tricks here to come up with something.
Whatever it is, it has to be a quick hitter, because, again, not a lot of field down here in the red zone to work with.
Skylar Perry will have Jackson to his right and take the snap and keep after the fake handoff and dive into the end zone for the touchdown as Edna Carr cashes in again and converts. A big moment in this game. They've all belonged to the Cougars.
Well, that play, trips to the field by Carr, and they kept the ball in their best player's hands on offense, Skylar, and he did what he was supposed to do. Read past the option, he kept the football and scored for the Carr Cougars.
They kept it simple, the basic part of their offense in the running game, and they won the battle again as Foster will look to convert this extra point. His last attempt was blocked. First play of the second quarter, and Carr in the end zone again, and this extra point is up, and it is through. So with 11:55 to go in this first half, it's all Edna Carr leading 20-0. And if you're just joining us, early on it looked like Warren Easton was poised to strike first after a 3-and-out forced by the Eagles defense. They get a short punt at the 33, and then it was an interception on the very first play from scrimmage on a pass by Lejean, picked off by Chance Carroll. And from that point on, Carr has dominated a block punt for a touchdown, and they've been able to get it done in all three phases.
Again, 3 big plays in the first half so far in Carr's favor. Especially, that's a magnified stat because the emotions involved right now in this football game. Again, we still have a lot of football left. Warren Easton needs to get themselves, go back to the drawing board. They're not out of the football game. They're playing okay, playing average. It's just these 3 or 4 big plays is the reason why they're down 20-0 at this point.
Carr proved they could come back from a deficit like this and make it a game like we mentioned against De La Salle earlier this year. Only loss for Warren Easton to John Curtis at the Shrine on Airline. It was a 6-point game, although Curtis had control of that game for the most part in that matchup. Easton has not faced a deficit like this before as a line drive kickoff is taken at the 20. And now room to move taken towards the center of the field, now bouncing it outside and keeping his feet past the 30 and taken out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Nice piece of running there to keep battling and get what was available. And it was Damian Tate trying to get the ball in his hands in many different ways, that time on the kickoff, and a run back of about 14.
Now, let's see what Lejean and Easton comes up with. They need something so they can have some confidence.
And this is one of those spots, Terrence, where we talked about Carr having the ball first to start the ball game. So the fact that Easton has the ball to start the second half, they just need to whittle in this lead and win the quarter.
Exactly, win the quarter. And it starts now on this series. Make some drives, stay in front of the chains, and make some smart decisions so you can have build up some confidence, because right now you're lacking confidence offensively.
Against this ball-hawking Cougars secondary, you don't want to take too many chances down the field, because we'll see if Easton will stay patient with the one, and they will, but not any room to move, as that time Lejean faked the handoff and ran forward to get maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
It appears Warren Easton's offense and staff is being very conservative right now, which is understandable given how they've been playing the past couple of series, but they have to, at some point, let their players play and athletes become athletes.
When you talk about them being young, you've got a junior quarterback in Lejean in the backfield now, Ashad Clayton, just a sophomore. So they're going with their rotation as normal. And this time Clayton will take the handoff and not have much. And once more, celebration time for Ronell Burbank as he makes another play in the backfield. And Carr is really limiting the running game between the tackles for Easton.
Again, up the middle, there's nothing there. The run-pass option, we're going to be talking about that all throughout tonight. Run-pass option, RPO, it's not there for Easton at this moment.
So a 3rd and long, make it 12 from the 21 for Lejean, as he has 2 wide receivers up top, 1 in the slot, and he'll roll to his right to buy some time. He has some time. He fires down the field. A gorgeous pass caught at the 38 between 2 defenders. First down, Eagles.
That was an aggressive play by Easton. Great throw by Lejean. Great throw. And the only place he could have put it, and he was on target.
Johannes Tyler, the senior, making a catch in traffic, his first of the game, and Easton desperately needed that, a conversion on 3rd down of nearly 20 as they set up shop with 1st and 10 from the 38. We'll see if they try to move a little quickly and squeeze a few more plays in here and try to play with tempo, as they will keep it on the ground. Lejean with the fake bouncing outside, but push back in the backfield, now cutting up the field and gaining positive yardage past the 45, 8 yards on the play, and that's the speed of Lejean showing off there against a fast defense. He still made something happen.
Again, utilize your ability, and he did just that and got in positive yardages, and he's staying in front of the chain with a 2nd and 2.
We've seen more room to run for the Easton offense outside of the tackles, and that was the case there for Lejean, who's directing traffic at the line of scrimmage. And we'll look to run the 2nd and short, and we'll hand off the football, and the ball is on the turf. Pile up for it. Did Easton retain possession? They did at their 44-yard line as Clayton fumbled the football, and I think he might have been able to fall on it and fight off Jameer Johnson, a Carr defensive lineman for the football.
That's the other thing happens when you have these run-pass options. Either the quarterback's going to give it to you, you clamp down as a running back because you want it. So those miscues have to clear themselves up, especially you're down 20-0.
Loss of 2 on the play, so 3rd and 4 from their own 46 for Easton. And perhaps they're already thinking at this point in the field, a 4-down territory. We'll see. Swing out passes caught, and an easy first down there. There's a lot of space to move, and Easton will say thank you very much for that as Lejean took the quick one, and Easton moves the chains.
Great pass by Lejean. Quick bubble screen to the field, far side of the field, and they got some positive yardages out of that particular play.
Carr respecting the speed of the Easton receivers. Another catch for Tyler, a second on the drive. As Easton will look to work quickly here with a man in motion to the near side, and he will be the man who catches the football and be taken down immediately. That read from the outset, and we see that speed from the Carr secondary. They can come up and support. Quindell Johnson, the Memphis commitment, on the play.
Great play by Johnson. Easton ran the same play to the other side of the field in cover 0. I think sometimes you just said it was formation. Carr went to cover 0. It was man-to-man, so no one was on him to block him.
Loss of 4 on the play, and now Carr bringing virtually everyone up the line of scrimmage, and Lejean doesn't see it. Fakes the handoff, and he has no chance. Sacked on the play. The first guy to get there for Carr was Bilal Muhammad, who had the blocked punt recovery for the touchdown. Now makes a play on defense from his linebacker spot.
Once again, Carr is just pinning their ears back right now, especially the last two plays, as Easton was trying to mount a drive.
And Sheldon Celestine, the leading tackler, also in on the blitz as Carr brought extra pressure and now forces a 3rd and 14 for Easton at their 38. Empty backfield as Lejean drops deep back to throw and now has to scramble again under heavy pressure, trying to get what he can, but it won't be much. Back to the line of scrimmage at the 38 and no more. Another jailbreak on extra pressure from Carr, and Lejean had no chance.
Delayed blitz by Celestine, Carr's defensive linebacker, and the defensive backfield. We had zone coverage, and there was no way for Lejean to get anything done on that particular series.
Elijah Randall, senior linebacker, makes the stop for Carr. And once more, Warren Easton not able to get it done offensively. We'll have to punt it away on 4th and 22. And we'll see if they can block it up front to start out with. Is back to receive the punt here for Carr is Spurlock.
It's difficult to see these numbers for
actually, yeah. Both teams a little bit. It can be a bit of a challenge tonight. Actually, it's Devin Bush who's back to receive, and we have a stop in the action here.
Yep.
Don't see a flag on the field, so we'll see if it is, and it is a delay of game. So the play clock running out on Easton, and the woes continue for the Eagles tonight.
Carr will have great field position here, depending on if this kick is will not be blocked, first of all, because the interior blocking has been abysmal tonight. If he can get this punt off, either fielding it or letting it drop, they still will have good field position.
And Bush, just a junior, just an outstanding player, had 7 interceptions last year and has offers from most major SEC schools, but he won't have a chance to return this when the line drive bounces, and Easton will let it roll in their favor just inside the 35, and they'll take that considering the circumstances. And it doesn't go far, but it keeps the ball out of the hands of Bush, and they were able to block it well enough. But now, here's Carr. They could go for a kill shot at this point if they can put another drive together, but they can stay in rhythm and stay on schedule because they've got this huge early lead.
Exactly, and I think what they're going to do is, because of this type of game, they're going to try to go for the kill shot here. 6 minutes left in the second quarter.
They'll be patient, and I think Easton's going to try to force the issue as we see them bringing some extra defenders to the line of scrimmage. Change of the play up front there for Perry, who again showed an option look sprinting outside, instead has room off the right side past the 40, close to 8 yards on first down.
Great read by the young man Perry there. Zone play by Easton's defense. and he read it perfectly and got some positive yardages out of that play.
And you see Perry having success with pre-snap reads, and they go quick this time, and the handoff is to Jackson for the first down, past midfield, and a gain of 7. And varying the tempo of the snaps has worked well for Collier.
Every time Eastern defense out wide like that, out the 9 technique, you will hand the ball off because you're begging for me to run to that side of the football field.
1st and 10 right at the 50. And this time Carr will again go quickly. And Easton stringing out the play to the near side, and a tackle for a loss as a slew of defenders were there right away. Well defended that time on the outside run.
Great play by Carr's defense. I'm sorry, Warren Easton's defense.
And one of the guys in on the play, I tell you what, Jeffrey Bubblegum Holmes, 6'1", 330. That's a lot of bubblegum, Terrence. But he can move laterally at that size, and we saw it there on that play.
Great play about him.
He's a big barrel of bubblegum.
Right.
What flavor? We have no idea, but I'm sure it's good. 2nd and 11. Perry looking deep and has a man open, underthrown, but caught.
Wow.
Inside the 20. Carr with another big play in the passing game, and it's Anthony Spurlock coming up with the jump ball, the senior.
Carr caught Easton in the cover 0, and the safety or the corner didn't have any help in the inside. He just threw it up in the seam route by the receiver, and he came down with the football. Great play by Perry, and a great call by Carr offensive staff.
Could have been a touchdown if it were in stride, but Spurlock makes the jumping catch for a gain of 31. And again, the red zone is where Carr sets up shop here in the 2nd quarter. And the great fake by Perry, and forget about it, he can walk into the end zone, stutter step through a couple of defenders, untouched for a 20-yard score. And Edna Carr, ladies and gentlemen, making a statement tonight. It is 26-0.
Wow. Great play by Perry. Caught them in cover 0 again. And there was no one accountable, had him accountable for. And he read it perfectly, kept the football. As you mentioned, a 21-yard gallop up the middle.
Perry making a ton of great decisions tonight. And Carr, sometimes after the long play, you're up against it with the play clock. It takes a little extra time. A well-schooled offense here was up on the football and attacked quickly as that kick is short on the extra point, but it looks like it was blown dead.
It was blown dead.
So we'll see what the flag is here. As Carr's done most everything right except a blocked extra point tonight. And this penalty, we're waiting for the signal. Will be an offsides on Warren Easton.
Wow, Easton is just not into it tonight so far.
It's so frustrating at this point if you're Warren Easton looking forward to this big game. I'm a little surprised Carr's not thinking about going for 2 here, but in command.
Exactly. You gotta give them opportunity to work on the kicking game, extra point game.
Right, exactly. As Foster will go for the 18-yard extra point. And lucky to get it off. And does he boot it through? He does. I don't know how he did. Pressure. But the sea of hands not able to come up with the deflection. And Foster now 3 for 4 on extra points. 4:20 to go in this first half. And we didn't think we were going to see this, Terrence. 27-0 Edna Carr. But this is all about experience in a program that's used to being here. Although Easton was in the Dome in 2012, they had a little bit of a lull. Jerry Phillips trying to bring back what Tony Hull started. And Bryce Brown and company, his team already there.
They're getting it done. Perry is doing a great job of commanding the offense and managing it well. A few big plays here and there. Again, on this series, he found one of his receivers down the middle. He also kept the football on one run, actually the touchdown. And they're in command of this game so far. There's another half left, 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. But however, momentum-wise, it's all in Carr's favor.
No question. But that doesn't mean when we think about the rest of this game that Easton can't cut into this deficit. Maybe more importantly, it's important to start making a statement about a potential rematch in the postseason because this is just one regular season game and Easton primed to make another run in the playoffs as the pooch kick's taken at the 30 and not much running room past the 35 and late flags coming down and now getting a little bit frustrated maybe out there could cause some issues here. We hope not between these two teams with the one-sided first half for Carr so far. We'll see as multiple flags came down right near the point of the tackle.
Yeah, it looked like Josh Williams for Easton is Well, emotions right about now. They're down, and just need to keep himself under control. It's easy right now to get frustrated and get these types of flags, which not only going to hurt you as an individual, but your team overall, because again, you're giving Carr great field position with 4 minutes left in the game in the second quarter. That was not a good play.
Right, frustration costing 15, and I guarantee you that head coach Jerry Phelps will be more upset about that than anything else that's happened in the first half. It's important for a young team to keep its poise here, and for Easton now, marching back to their 22 and trying to come up with something positive before the end of the half with 4:15 to go. Legendre and company back out there, and now probably forced to open it up a little bit more, but the way Carr's been applying pressure up front, it's not going to be easy to get anything started. And we see the pressure here. Legendre under heavy rush, avoids one man scrambling into his end zone, and now will throw it up to the middle of the field, and it's nearly intercepted. As Legendre, running for his life on another blitz off the edges, had no choice in the end but to try to throw it up and hope somebody could make a play. And Sheldon Celestine really felt like he should have had the interception at the 40.
He should have. And Legendre should just throw that football away. That was a jailbreak again there. At this point, they should try to get some consistency offensively, get something established. If you start off by moving the chains, continue to do that and see what happens.
No matter how talented you are and how big you are up front, you can't be one-dimensional against this Carr defense, and they're not taking their foot off the pedal here.
Not at all.
They don't want to give Legendre and company a chance to get into any rhythm, which they certainly haven't done in this first half. And again, here comes the blitz, and now Legendre will run, and maybe he'll have an opportunity to do something with his legs, and he does. To the 30, past the sticks, far sideline, past the 35, and Legendre's going to be doing a whole lot of that the rest of the night, the way Carr's looking to attack.
It appears Carr's just like, we coming in. The game is still close in our minds, and we're blitzing almost every down. In fact, ironically, talking to some of the coaches on the field before the game, they did have some little jarring between the coaches, friendly because everybody know each other, and that was one of the things that they said. They will be blitzing tonight, and they're showing it tonight.
We've seen plenty of it. Gain of 15 all on his own for Legendre, and now Legendre will run the football, and they really needed to do that, take a little pressure off of him. Gain of 5 on the play. And since Carr's coming uphill at you, you got to run right at it and see if you can bust through and make a play.
Exactly. One thing about these blitzes, I mean, all you need is a crack, and your athleticism will take over. One arm tackle will not bring some of these guys down. So hopefully Easton can get a few of those breaks.
DeWitt Johnson gaining 5 now out of the ball game. Another back behind Legendre. And the fly sweep fake there and a handoff instead. And a little bit of room running forward for Barabino, the senior, as they now try to simply establish something with the basic running game here. And if you're Easton again, as potent an offense as they are, they get the ball to start the second half. If they can get a drive started and finish it before the end of the half, that's hope going into the locker room.
And that drive, exactly, Jules, that hope that will be hope. So they can have something to build off of coming back into the second half.
But they need to convert here on 3rd and 3 from the 43, and Legendre will try to run it himself and will have the first down. Patient on that run there through traffic and got 4 yards and keeps the sticks moving.
In that particular instance, run pass option, he let the play develop by himself, and he cut up the middle as a running back. He took the place actually of the running back in that situation, and it's proved positive for them. Chains are moved.
Good decision made on the RPO that time, and now Legendre will try to work quickly as the clock runs inside 2.5 minutes to go before the half. We see the same look, and this time it's a pitch forward, and that should be considered an incomplete pass as it was pitched forward.
Yeah.
And the officials were waiting for somebody to signal that
That's
it is.
a forward pass. It should be incomplete.
It was two-hand toss forward, and it looks like they're going to say it's
just an incomplete pass.
Curious to see where they're spotting the football. They're going to call that a fumble, Terrence. So that keeps the clock running.
That should have been just an incomplete pass. And that's dangerous, by the way, as well, for Easton to have that type of play in this juncture of the game.
And now I think there's some discussion, and hopefully they'll get this one right and spot the football, but then they'll have to figure out the clock as well. And they have figured out it should be, and it is now an incomplete pass. And if you're Jerry Phelps, you're on the field talking to your offense, but I think you're also wondering about some time being put back on the clock. At least
about 5 seconds.
Sure, easily. Probably more than that. 1:52 on the clock right now. Easton needs every second they can get, not only in the half, but to try to mount a comeback, as Edna Carr has been fantastic here at City Park tonight.
And they're not letting up on defense. They're trying to send a message, at least during this game.
They believe in their ability to cover, but more importantly, they believe this extra pressure is more than Easton's capable of blocking, and they've proven themselves to be correct. As
Exactly.
you see them creeping up to the line. Now they'll back off into a zone this time around as Lejean has to run from the pocket once more.
Throw it away.
And she can't throw it, apparently. Somehow able to get yards because he's such a talented runner to the 50. Give him credit for gaining 3 on that one.
Well, what Easton, Carr has figured out, Easton's formation have their running backs out in the receiver capacity. And so what Carr does to counter that is bring the outside linebackers up to rush. There's nobody to block them. There's too many rushing and not enough people to block.
So that combination with the ability to man cover and mix coverages at times has given Lejean and the Easton offense so much trouble. Now they face a 3rd and 7 from midfield. And Lejean this time had time to throw, nobody open, and now he tries to escape, and somehow he does, and is pointing down the field, throws across his body, and the catch is made at the 15-yard line. Lance Lejean showing off every bit of talent he has to make that happen, and Damian Tate comes up with the catch. Unbelievable gain of 35.
Great play by Lejean. Players make plays, and he's a player. Tate did what most receivers should do in that situation. Come back to the football, help your quarterback out, and that's what he did. Move the chains, not in red zone territory. Good play overall by the Easton offense.
No matter how good you are in coverage, it's hard to cover that long, as
Exactly.
Lejean kept that play alive with fantastic scrambling ability. And now Easton has time to run the clock a little bit more inside 120. They can run the football. They just need to come up with points here, and they don't want Carr to touch it.
Exactly.
So this makes sense.
Man down, so to give both teams time to talk to their respective sides of the football. Great play by Lejean that time. Tate, again, I've always said quarterbacks will do 95% of the work. The receivers have to do the 5%, and Tate exactly did that 5%. His quarterback was in trouble. He saw what was happening. Lejean directed him to come back. He threw across his body.
Sure.
Which is, you cannot do that.
Normally a no-no.
Or
right?
normally a no-no. But try to make plays and all the way around, that play proved to be successful for the Easton offense.
But again, one-on-one, in that case, you can understand desperate times,
Exactly.
desperate measures, and that time giving a receiver a chance to make the play. As the injured Cougar is Austin Kent, the 5'11", 270-pounder, a junior, able to walk off, so good to see there. Both teams getting a breather and some strategy discussion going on as well.
Jules, you have to admit, that was a hell of a play by Lejean there, right? I mean, he
just
was
like you
bottled
used
up
to
in the
make in
middle.
the Dome back in the day, I think, right?
Well, look, I felt for him because he was running for his life, right? But anyway, it was a great play on his part. He was able to get this team.
Well, it's not Florida State or Ole Miss from back in your day, but it's guys that those schools want right now. There's a lot of talent out there.
And the hit still hurts.
I'm sure. Better you than me, Terrence, as we see again the one-man gang keeping it alive.
Another injured player for Carr.
Out of bounds with 58 seconds left on second down is
like
Lejean again.
Look like a knee. Oh,
you hate to see that,
yeah.
So a couple plays in a row, but this one could be a bit more serious. We again remind you that this portion of Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Ye Olde College Inn and Rock and Bowl. That's Mid-City Lanes. Catch Groovy 7 Friday night and Latin night with Asheson on Saturday at Rock and Bowl. And then every Tuesday, it's the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation Quarterback Club luncheons at noon. And also the Greater New Orleans Prep Sports Hall of Fame in Ye Olde College Inn. Wall to wall, just fantastic pictures and more of the history of this great game in the city. And I think we can safely say that there are few places, if any, that play the game better than we've seen in this town. And Terrence, over the years, when we look at the talent on both of these teams, as the injured player now to his feet, we'll see if he's able.
Like an arm. Or shoulder injury.
Yeah, he is favoring his left arm. We're trying to see the number there, but it is a left arm. And he will be helped and slowly walk towards the bench and hope he's okay. As Carr will make the substitution. We'll get back to it on 3rd and 10 from the 15. But we're seeing the talent and speed here. These names you're hearing tonight, many of them you're going to hear on Saturdays for years to come, including Lejean, who takes the snap and fires left side and open, coming back for it and then taking it into the end zone for the touchdown for Warren Easton as they're on the ball. Stick Jones. And that time coming back to the football again, but a strike for Lejean, who had a chance to step into it.
Trips to the field, single coverage down to the sideline, and what the receivers do, Stick Jones, he made a move as if he was going to favor out, came back, and Lejean was on the money with the timing throw.
4th touchdown of the year receiving for Jones as Lejean showing his great talent to keep that drive alive. And we saw a bit of a swinging gate look, but now Easton will try the conventional point after kick. Try to make this a 20-point game once more. Straight on kicker, it is up, and it will hit the crossbar. Line drive by Jamal Sam, the junior. And with 51 seconds left, Easton has given themselves hope, now trailing 27-6. And that's a gut check drive there. And a real response by Lejean in particular, who made it happen.
And you want to rely on your leader. And he did what leaders supposed to do. Took the ball into his own hands and made some plays, moved the chains, kept themselves in front of the chains. And the final outcome of that was a touchdown. Now they got some momentum. Now they got hope. 51 seconds. And now the worst thing they can do now is let Carr go down, move the football down the field, or on this kickoff, do something to score, and they're back to the same situation. You have momentum now, Easton does, and you have something now to go into the locker room and build off of. That's all you will need at this juncture of the game. Another half to go. What happened this half is over with. Let's go in the locker room. Let's regroup. It's another football game to be played.
78-yard drive and the key play, one of a couple of important 3rd down conversions to set up the Jones 15-yard touchdown reception was a 35-yard catch by Damian Tate on the great scramble that you can check out if you missed it on Twitter. That was tweeted out, wasn't? No, we're going to try to do that. But a fantastic play. And again, you can watch the replay of this game later tonight if you missed anything on CrescentCitySports.com as the kickoff down the middle and taken at the 10. And room to move here past the 30. And Carr, perhaps a decision to be made about whether they want to attack here with 44 seconds left. It looked like Lontae Nettles, the junior, on the return of about 22 yards.
Jacob Parker for Easton almost jarred that football loose, but he held on to it.
3 timeouts in the pocket for Carr. Will they be aggressive here or try to stay on the ground and get something started that way? After Easton finally gets on the board here before the end of the half. A draw play is the call, and the draw play goes absolutely nowhere.
Bubbles.
Bubble Gum himself. We told you he can move. He did so there in the backfield once that big long arm came out. The Bubbles have a stick, right? Bubble Gum? So there you go. Big tackle for a loss on the play of 5. And now Carr will take their time, and they have to snap it one more time here. About a 3-second differential between clock and play and snap clock here, as we're down to 12 seconds to go, and might be the last play of the half. Probably going to keep it on the ground, and they will. And a big gainer. And maybe changing thought process if there's time. There isn't, though, as the clock runs out. On the run by Antoine, and we're to the break, and for the most part, a first half dominated by the Cougars of Edna Carr, scoring the first 27 points of this game and taking a 27-6 lead into the locker room. Jude Young along with Terrence Jones before we take this break and allow you to enjoy the fantastic bands here at the half here on CrescentCitySports.com. Two teams, talent-wise, pretty similar. Carr more experienced, slightly older team, and a program that's used to winning and playing in big games, and you feel like that was the difference early on here.
Exactly. You're right, Jules. They came out pretty evenly in terms of field position. Carr just took the opportunity to have some big plays here and there. And again, big plays in these type of games, any game, usually determine the outcome of the game. And Easton could never get that back. And Carr continued to build upon those early successes. And here we are, 27-6. Now towards the end of the second quarter, Easton mounted a drive with some good plays by LeJean. And now they have something they can build their hats off of and come out second half and play.
Skylar Perry and the Carr offense making it happen. 3 good drives for touchdowns and a blocked punt for a touchdown for the Carr special teams as well. Easton gets on the board late in the half on the Stick Jones 15-yard touchdown catch from Lance LeJean. And we'll see if Warren Easton can make this a ball game to start the second half, as they'll have it first. But we'll take this break here on CrescentCitySports.com. Stick with us. Second half should be interesting from Tad Gormley.
Now witness the greatness that has reached the highest peak of efficiency and performance. Watch out for that quick step. And the Carr High School proudly brings to you the quintet of contemporary sounds and movements. The kings of Alexander, New Orleans, and Tad Gormley, a.k.a. Berkeley Stadium Kings. The kings of Alexander. test 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. It's our pleasure to present to you. Oh, the one is the one fighting we will go under the direction of Angel McAllen. Beryl Thompson. Eagle fans, sit back and prepare yourself to be thoroughly entertained. And now, for our first musical selection, the band will feature another one dance team in the Northern Metropolitan area, the Elegant Evilness, and they perform to get tuned, Object of My Desire, by Star Point. Ladies and gentlemen, this time I'd like to introduce to you the members of the 2017 Lawrence Fighting Eagle Ladies Eagle Volleyball team. Starting with our southpaw, number 26 is Eve Briscoe. Our juniors, wearing number 8 is Mariah Bowman. Number 10, Sharon Gray. Number 16, Casey Connolly. Number 21, Alexis Augustine. Number 22, Devani Hayes. Now our seniors, number 2, Tamar Henry. Number 5, Maya Taylor. Number 23, Tatiana Bell. And our team captain, number 3, Kayla, stepping back your back from the area. Ladies and gentlemen, these ladies got in the playoffs for the first time with Coach Katrina Garrett and Warren Eastern. They successfully won their first game Wednesday night and will be traveling to Lafayette Saturday to take on number 1. Wish the ladies luck. Your 2017 Lady Eagle Volleyball team. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce the winner of the raffle that we have going on tonight. Our first prize for the knockdown drag out wagon, and our winner is Lionel Powell. Your ticket number is 1018. That ticket number is 1018. That's your winner of the knockdown drag out wagon. And our second prize winner on this one is a $100 gift card to Houston's Restaurant, and this one goes to Greg. Greg, your ticket number is 1607. 1607. Come to the press box and claim your prize. On our 50-50, get those tickets out. 50-50, number is 801-88508. Once again, 801-88508. If you have the winning number, come to the press box, the big press box, on the far side of the field. Take that back. They'll be on the eastern side, 50-50. That's the 50-yard line. Look at the trailing five and the yellow. The purple and gold. My heart is on the field, number 17.
Both teams ready to start the second half after the band performances and some stretching after the break. A break after our first half in which Carr jumped out to a 27-0 lead. Warren Easton able to put the drive together late in the half to make it a ball game, as the Eagles will await the second half kickoff. As we look at how this game has gone so far, well, early on it looked like an opportunity for an early score after a short punt for Warren Easton. But an interception on the very first play from scrimmage from the 33-yard line, Lance Lejeune picked off by Chance Carroll, sort of turned the game on its head from that point on as Warren Easton took command. A 70-yard touchdown drive capped by a Ronnie Jackson score from the 1-yard line on 4th and goal. And then soon after that, on the next possession, Chaz Bates blocks a punt, and Bilal Muhammad falls on it in the back of the end zone to make it 13-0 after a blocked extra point try. Then late in the first quarter, Carr was on the move again and converted on 4th down, 4th and goal from the 3. Skylar Perry ran it in to make it 20-0. Before it was all said and done, Lance Lejeune gave his team an opportunity to try to have hope for this second half with a 15-yard touchdown pass to Sticks Jones in the final minute. And now Easton takes the kickoff, and it is a pooch kick, and it is on the turf, and very fortunate there, Terrence Jones.
Wow.
It bounced twice. That's the one thing a return team never wants to have happen, but the Eagles able to fall on it.
Field position, field position, field position. And right now, they have excellent field position. Easton does. Let's see if they utilize this opportunity right now to get something going.
And Lejeune should have a little bit more confidence with this offense after that drive late in the half. But a crucial possession you have to think here to start the third quarter. Down 21. And Lejeune will fake the handoff and be under pressure. That was the story of the first half. It's a story here. Lejeune avoids one tackler. Far sideline, trying to stay on his feet, and eventually goes down at his 31 for a loss of 7. And once more, Carr with multiple rushers in the backfield.
It's like they opened the gate again. But on that play, Lejeune, there's nothing there. You have to throw it away. Right?
Right.
Let's live to fight it for another day. 2nd and 10 again, as opposed to what? 2nd down and 16. So you have to be smart in that situation.
Right. He broke containment on the pocket, so he just needed to throw the ball downfield out of play. Instead, 2nd and long, they'll go back to the grounding. Try to make it manageable on 3rd down with the handoff. Past the 35, maybe a gain of 5. And once more, a 3rd and long situation has been a theme tonight for the Eagles on offense.
And I would imagine Carr right here may pin the ears back to come at him again. You got trips to the field now, so it seems like they're trying to force Carr into man coverage. Carr's not taking the bait, 3rd and long here.
Carr has been aggressive even on 3rd and long, and this time they'll go with a 4-man lush. And an opportunity for Lejeune to throw an incomplete out of the reach of an open receiver down at around the Carr 40. It was Sheldon Jones who was open, and it may have been tipped by a receiver shorter, about 10 yards forward on the route. So Lejeune had the ability to make a strike there and was a bit inaccurate.
Great play by the Carr defense, 3rd and long. They did not come with the blitz. They didn't have to. And it proved to be a good call on their part. So Easton come out, didn't get nothing established, Jules, so they had to at least move the chains. We'll see how this Carr offense. Oh my God!
Very tough snap and then dropped, and no ability to punt the ball, and room to run to get what he can, but way short of the 1st down as a tackle made past the 40, and you can't blame on the play Larry Barabino.
Flag by 5th. Who's that?
Goodness, just a tough night as Easton has not helped themselves on special teams. Had a punt blocked. That resulted in a touchdown, and now a bad snap, and then Barabino not able to handle the football to punt it away.
Josh Williams with another late hit. Josh Williams, Easton's defensive player on special teams there, came in a late hit, and the referee caught it.
Nightmare start to the second half for Easton as they turn it over on downs, not able to punt the football away, tack on the personal foul penalty, and Carr will set up shop inside the 30 of Easton on their first possession of the half.
Jules, one thing coaches will tell us, I want you to be aggressive, but over-aggressiveness won't help you at all. And both times, Jules was 50. Williams for Easton was over-aggressive again.
That's a frustration penalty. We saw one in the first half, but you can understand the feeling. A big game for both of these teams. Top 3 in the power ratings in the state, a district championship on the line, and maybe the appetizer to a main course rematch in the postseason. But right now, Edna Karr showing the experience of a program.
Exactly. You said it right, Jules.
And the roster here. And now we'll see if they can reestablish that 4-score lead, set up in perfect field position. Ball spotted at the 27 now of Easton for first down, and Perry will hand off the football to Antoine, and Antoine weaves right up the middle and close to a first down. Simple play there, a seam available, and Antoine gains 9 to the 18.
Once again, run pass option. Trips formation will have Easton defense.
And we've seen Karr run with quicker snaps there late in the second quarter to effect. And now a first down on, again, a handoff to Antoine, who will get a break as Ronnie Jackson will come into the ball game for him, and the beat keeps on going for the Karr Cougars.
Once again, Perry in this three-set formation and forces Easton to declare. And every time they force them to declare, he hands the ball off because the defensive end is in the 7 technique, and that opens up the give portion of the run pass option.
And Perry's played like a senior tonight. He's made good decisions throughout. Taking what's been available and getting fine play from that offensive line that we'll highlight here in the second half. As this a play action fake throw over the middle, caught to the 5. First and goal for Edna Karr on the quick strike to Michael Corner, his second catch of the game. And that a throw on the money on the play action fake by Perry.
Great play by Perry, good route by Corn. Okay, so all those things work together, and he was on the money. Perry was.
And Perry, for the most part, hasn't run the football until this situation once in the red zone. Had a 20-yard run for a score and a 3-yarder on 4th down. We'll watch and see if he keeps here. Instead, a bad snap, and he's able to fall on it at the 9-yard line. Fortunate there as it bounced right to his feet, and he made the right decision simply to pounce on the football and protect it for Karr. And sometimes it's the decisions you make in situations like that, Terrence. Make the smart play.
Exactly, especially in the red zone. Let's back it up, second down. Let's get another play here.
Second and goal from the 9. Again, Jackson, the one back in there with Perry. 3 wide receivers up top. And we'll see if it will be a running play. And the option was there to hand it off. And the surge was there for Jackson. And he's down to the 1-yard line to set up 3rd and goal. And Terrence, I know you were looking before the snap. Perry probably had the option to take it and throw the football. So we see not enough coverage up top as Easton has only 2 players again to cover 3 receivers.
Seam routes is there. Again, the seam route is there.
Now they'll sneak a linebacker there, but will Karr keep it on the ground? They'll try, but Jackson is stacked up and will lose a yard on the play. So Perry deciding to stick with the running play.
It is working. Trip formation will have, and then you have the weak side of the football field, a single receiver. You have Easton defensive end is in the wide 7 tech, and the hole is there.
Another 4th and goal, and we'll see Perry keep it, and we'll see Perry go for his 3rd touchdown of the night and his 2nd conversion on 4th down. Skylar Perry having himself a huge game in City Park.
Jules, that play was there for the killing, for the asking, because as you and I saw, there was nobody on the outside there have any responsibility. And what they do, Skylar did what normal experienced quarterbacks do, read it right, cut it up the field, score it again.
Cashing in on 4th down and goal 3 times in this football game to have total command of this one from early on. Another opportunity for the extra point for Aaron Foster. The kick is up and he bangs it wide to the left. So best kick of the night off the foot, but he hooked it. So with 7:40 to go here in the 3rd quarter, 33-6, Karr gets a stop defensively and then jumps right back into it with great field position to cash in on a 27-yard touchdown drive.
Carr's in control here, obviously. So now, what should Easton do? All right? Continue to drive, continue to grind it out, make something positive. And the way you get back into this football game is to continue to make first downs. You continue to make first downs, sustain drives, you get confidence. Right now, they don't have any confidence. Everything they tried to do, Carr has answered for it on defense. So what they need to do again is get back and run something on offense that's working for them. Now, also, Leger for Easton, he has to throw some of these footballs away. I mean, a lot of running around in the backfield, nobody's open. Instead of having second and long, second and 10, now these are manageable type of yards. You give your offensive staff something to call as opposed to second and long.
And where Carr's been able to stay on schedule and run those zone reads early and often tonight, it's been Lejean looking to throw the football and play from behind, and that's not going to work against a defense as good as the one from Edna Carr. We have a whistle blow on the kickoff here and the offsides, as Terrence mentioned, will result in a 5-yard penalty and a re-kick here. But thinking ahead to the playoffs for both of these teams, when you think about Carr, they're used to making a long run. They're going to play with confidence. But as a 13 seed last year, Easton made a run to the semifinals before falling to Neville, which eventually lost in the Dome to Edna Carr. So plenty of players on this roster have experience making deep playoff runs, but it's been dealing with how good Carr's been in recent years, that hump they want to get over.
Exactly.
And now they're looking at this deficit, and you have to see how they respond the rest of the way, because we keep thinking these teams are going to meet again in the postseason. When you look at Class 4A, I think these are the two most talented teams in the classification.
And you're right, Jules. They will see each other towards the end of the season, playoffs around. And this will give both teams, both coaching staff, some bulletin board material to work from.
Line drive kick again, and good field position again.
Great
results from Easton, taking it to midfield. And if you're Easton, you're not going to get it all back on play, so I would be surprised if we don't see an effort put in here to try to establish the ability to run your offense. And I think Jerry Phillips would like to see the running game get back into gear against Carr to try to get them off of the front foot. They've brought so much pressure in the backfield of Lejean.
You made a great point, Jules. You can't get everything back here. Again, sustain drives, first downs, move the chain as soon as possible, because time is running out. You have to get some points.
Two backs in the backfield, in part to help block if needed, and a throw down the field is open and incomplete. We had some contact on the play, and I can understand the reaction there, hoping for the penalty, but it doesn't come.
That could have been a flag thrown.
Looked like a contact coming a little bit
Easton's
early.
Favor for Easton's here, but obviously the referee saw something different.
For the most part, the officiating crew doing a fine job tonight.
Fine job tonight.
Not too many hankies on the field, which is always good to see, as Lejean will throw the swing out pass. And a great open field tackle. Goodness gracious. Carr is so good at making the simple plays one-on-one that allows them to be aggressive, and we see a great job there.
Quindell Johnson came up from the safety position.
Johnson, Devin Bush.
Made a great play.
Just a talented bunch, as oftentimes Carr, their linebackers play like DBs, so they can cover all over the place in their 4-3 front.
Speed is there.
Well-designed play, but just one-on-one, the tackle made. Plain and simple.
Once again,
and throwing it
great
up and incomplete.
Play. Cover zero again by the Carr's defense. Coming with a blitz. They have a man on every man, even on the quarterback. There's a spy, linebacker spying, and so you just have to, Easton just have to get something going here.
Chance Carroll doing the job on coverage. Intended for Johannes Tyler. 3rd and 11 now for Easton at their 49. And Lejean, I'm sure he knows the pressure's probably coming. We haven't seen too many screens here to try to neutralize the rush, as Carr creeping up more defenders to the line of scrimmage again, and will bring a couple extra rushers. Lejean hangs in there and throws, but too high inside the 35-yard line. And once again, Easton's going to have to punt the football away. And that time, Devin Bush, probably the most talented of those defenders on the back end, had blanket coverage.
What Carr is doing right now is that they have their cornerback playing man-to-man, bump and run, and they let them go. And the free safety picks up that slot receiver, which is a great disguise. And every time they're trying to get rid of the football, he's get hit in the mouth. So great disguise on defense by Carr's defensive staff.
And even on a play where there was enough time for Lejean to throw, there you see the cumulative effect of constant pressure from Edric Carr tonight.
And what that does to quarterbacks, you get antsy with your feet. I know because I have that. I did that before. You get antsy with your feet, you get hit a lot.
And it was actually a turnover on downs as they had neglected there for the change of the stick at one point, but they got it straight, and now Carr will go straight to the running game. And that's just at that point the scoreboard comes into play as Carr continuing to put the pressure on and moving the pile. Good positive yardage on first down, and no surprise here. The frustration and the hopeless feeling you have to think for Easton, the way Carr has performed and outplayed them so far this evening.
At will almost, Jules. Trips to the field, single receiver.
I think we talked about earlier the cumulative effect again of having two really good running backs that can wear you out. Ronnie Jackson's a pile pusher. Ahmad Antoine so good in space. Quick cuts, and both of them have had their opportunities tonight as Carr will call their first time out with 5:40 to go in the third quarter.
And what Carr is doing right now is utilizing the clock. They're not in a rush. Obviously, they're up by 27 points. And so why rush? So they're taking their time, calling what they want to call, and hopefully they're probably going to get some younger players in here, should they score here at this point. And work on their offense, their basic stuff right now.
Got to give credit to this offensive line for Carr tonight and their performance. They've been able to do pretty much what they've wanted to this evening, and they've kept Skylar Perry clean for the most part. Lamar Johns, Tyree Jones, Reggie Young, Delano Smothers, and Ronnie Lyons. 4 seniors and a junior, experienced starters across the front, and it shows.
And it shows. All right, great point, Jules, and it shows because that's what you want in your senior, especially this time of year. You want to be playing your best football, and Carr has shown it tonight.
After the timeout, 2nd and 4 facing the Cougars here at the Easton 42. Perry with the back to his right. That is still Jackson out there. A change of the play at the line. We've seen Carr variate how quickly they've snapped the football, this time taking their time.
Out the backfield here.
After the shift.
Jackson read pass options,
has plenty of room to run inside the 40 to the wide side for a first down. Brought down at the 37-yard line, and the receivers, the trips to the right, did a fine job blocking downfield to give Jackson that room to run east-west.
Great play by Damian Tate, Easton's defensive back coming up to make that play. Otherwise, it would have been a big gainer.
And the clock continues to run, and Carr continues to do what they do best, controlling the football on offense.
Once again, Jules, that second receiver is wide open. If he goes seam route, there's nobody to cover him.
Could see if they go that way, but instead they'll keep it on the ground. And that time, Antoine is brought down for a loss of about 1. And we can understand why Carr is sticking to the running game with the big lead.
It's working, why not? Let's work on our offense during the live game, so to speak, and so we can prepare for, because again, this is good film material right here for learning purposes.
Lavelle Otis in on the play, the senior linebacker, a moment ago. As Carr more than happy with this lead to keep that clock rolling. 2nd and 12, though Perry will look to throw and has room to run to his left inside the 35. A flag is down, but he's out of bounds inside the 30, but I think this is coming back, and it is indeed a holding call against the Cougars.
Well, a good read on Perry's part. Nothing was there. He did what a smart quarterback do: take it down and make something positive. Unfortunately for them, there's a holding and it's coming back.
The other side of the coin, when a quarterback scrambles, the offensive line has to adjust to what they can't see.
Exactly, because again, in their head, the ball should be gone. So
the defender knows where he's going, and he's going after him, and it's the job of the big uglies up front to keep the QB clean. So we saw a couple of holding penalties on Easton with Lejean scrambling so much tonight. First time we've seen that for Carr, as that pushes them back into their own territory. Ball spotted at the 44 of the Cougars. Clock stopped and now running for 4:18 and counting. Second and plenty, about 21. And a screen is set up outside, not much there, and a bone-crushing tackle on the play as corner had it. Took about 2 steps and was driven to the turf.
Jamal Sams, great play on his part. Great play on his part, defensive back for Easton. Read that screen, bubble screen, and came up to make a great play.
And Sams is usually a guy around the line of scrimmage making things happen. 3.5 sacks on the year. Also has 2 interceptions, but we've seen Carr kind of back that Easton defense up. 3rd and a mile here, and they'll go with the swing out pass outside back into Easton territory, gaining plenty of yardage and perhaps giving an option to go for it on 4th down is a nice job there of taking advantage of the space to the wide side of the field.
And it appears they're going to go.
I think it was Jalil Howard, a junior wide receiver, on the catch.
Oh, no, they're punting. Okay.
Yeah, Bryce Brown not one to take too many chances, especially with the way his defense has played tonight.
Exactly. Let's see if Easton brings the house to trying to block this punt here. They would need to try to do so because they need something to happen positively soon.
Tate back to receive at his 10. Spurlock to punt it away and punts a very nice ball. And Tate makes an error, taking it at his 5-yard line. Now retreating near his goal line and fortunate to gain positive yardage for sideline.
Wow.
I guess you're trying to make a play in a desperate situation, but Tate fortunate not to have perhaps even a safety at risk on the play, but able to get past the 10 when it's all said and done to the 11.
That was very...
Remember the old rule for the punt returner, put your heels on the 10.
Exactly.
If it's over your head, let it go. And that one was
There you
destined for the end zone if he didn't catch it. Instead, Easton will start with tough field position. Actually, they'll mark it right at the 10-yard line. Call it a return of 5. As Lejean back behind center and the pistol look. Will drop straight back to throw. Has time to throw this time over the middle, and it's caught at the 40 and down at the 42. You give him that much time to throw, and he's going
He will find somebody
to get the job done. Mike, a busy night tonight for Lejean, but he's gotten some good blocking on a couple of pass plays here in the second half. And that gain of 32. Now back to throw again. Late blitz pressure coming from Celestine. He's crushed on the throw, and it's incomplete.
Great play by John to get outside the pocket, trying to make something happen. However, Carr's defense, again, prove otherwise.
And linebacker Kenneth LeBeau in on the coverage there as Lejean took a shot, but able to get right back up. When you're willing to move around and buy extra time, you got to be willing to take shots like that as well, and give Lejean credit right back in there taking the snap on 2nd and 10.
Gotta make something
now
happen.
Steps up into the pocket, jumps over one Carr Cougar, and not able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Loss of about a half a yard on the play as again the pocket broke down quickly.
You got to start hitting some short passes and let the receivers make some plays, because Carr right now is just sitting back comfortably, zone, man, scheme, and forcing them to make these long throws because they do have the lead, obviously. And they have the shot hitting some intermediate routes here, so.
Jameer Johnson from his left end spot on the stop a moment ago. Now on 3rd down, the pass is late. And it is incomplete, far sideline.
The middle of the field is wide open, and the strong side of the field is wide open. So Easton should utilize what Carr's giving them.
Right.
Seam routes and strong side of the field, flat routes or slant routes or end cuts. Easton has not run those type routes enough.
Jones tried to make a diving catch there, not able to bring it in, setting up another 4th down. Easton will burn a timeout to discuss matters and try to come up with something to keep this particular Drive Alive. And we want to let you know that if you want 5-star service from a financial institution you can trust, Hancock and Whitney Bank has you covered with nearly 200 locations across the Gulf South and products for businesses of all sizes. Learn more at HancockWhitney.com. And when it comes to our broadcast area, particularly in southeast Louisiana and over on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, our friends at Hancock Whitney do an outstanding job serving the community. And now Easton will decide to punt the ball away. Perhaps understanding a bridge too far here, down 4 scores. Line drive punt, and the fair catch is made and fumbled. Falling on it, though, and saving a turnover, the return man for Edna Carr at the 32.
Great opportunity right there, Jules.
Almost paying off to punt the football, yeah.
Wow.
Devin Bush able to clean up his mess there and keep possession for the Cougars. Carr taking no chances, still has their starters in the game.
Yeah. Good.
As we enjoy the music here, playing on the visiting side, the happier side of the stadium right now for Edna Carr. And watch the Cougars start another possession here as Perry will swing it out complete and a good open field tackle. Both of these teams so used to seeing defenses like this. They're good at tackling in space. And Jamal Sam with another nice one-on-one tackle.
Surprised, though, that jet sweep look. There's nobody rotating for the Eastern defense to pass off that guy. But good play on Warren Easton's part. They were able to nullify that particular pass play with no yardage.
2nd and 12, a loss of 2 on the play as Perry awaits the snap. And will keep automatic quarterback run the call there. And once more, Easton up to the task. Clock stopping now with 1:05 to go here in quarter number 3.
Bubbles looked like he came up on that play again, Jules.
And his helmet came off, so I think that's the reason why is Bubblegum will have to sit out one play. 3:30. That would take about 3 Jude Youngs. Not sure how many Terrence Jones. I'm telling you, he's in playing shape, folks. You can't see him, but trust me on that.
A lot of jogs in this park, at least 3 times a week.
Plenty of shade, which you need in order to do so. As Carr will keep it on the ground with Perry running straight ahead.
Carr right now is just clock time for them, and it should be. Easton should. I don't see them blitzing right now, Jules. I mean, you have to trying to get some turnovers here. They should try something to turn this tide a little bit.
Carr's definitely been the more aggressive team defensively. They have trusted their ability to cover in the secondary and bring a lot of extra pressure from all angles, particularly off the edges, whereas Carr's been able to run their offense pretty much unfettered. A lot of respect on the Easton side defensively.
Good point, Jules.
As we see the end of quarter number 3, and Carr able to extend their lead to 33-6 as we go to the final period, as the Cougars are well on their way to a potential district title. Want 5-star service from a financial institution you can trust? Hancock and Whitney Bank has you covered with expert business bankers and products for businesses of all sizes. Learn more at HancockWhitney.com. And you see a fired up bunch of Cougars on the sideline huddling up. Both teams wanting to finish strong here. As we look ahead to the postseason next week in Class 4A, both of these teams made big runs last year. Of course, Carr winning it all with an undefeated record, but Easton reaching the semifinals, and it would be exciting to see these two make a run to the Dome, and we'll see how the seeding works out. No way to know how the power ratings are going to work out until all these games are played, with so many coming up on a regular Friday night. And folks should tune in to the original network, including WGSO 990 AM in New Orleans for Ken Trahan's original Prep Football Report. Dozens of reporters all around the state for this final week of the regular season, setting up the playoffs. And look, it's going to be exciting with 9 different brackets. Maybe 9's too many, but that will set up a lot of opportunities for exciting playoff matches as teams try to reach the dome.
And I think you did it purposely for that, because there are a lot of good teams in there. You want to give them opportunities to do so.
The punt is away under pressure and letting it bounce short. Easton, as Carr will down it inside the 40 at the 39.
So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting playoffs here, at least the first round. And definitely the shakeout will be between these two teams, and they probably will see each other early on. And this game will be a learning tool for both teams going in.
Skylar Perry with 3 touchdowns tonight. Quarterback for Carr, as he has stolen the spotlight a little bit. A matchup of 2 good quarterbacks,
Yes.
but more said about Lance Lejeune and his performance this season, although Perry's numbers are great and his performance tonight has been outstanding. Lejeune throws over the middle and high again. He's overshot some targets here as he had time to throw there. Streaks down the field. He had a receiver open and overshot an open man.
He's been under duress a lot tonight, and so his feet's not set. You need to step into his throws so he can have some balance on that play right there. All he had to do was step into his throw, and he would have put the ball where it should have been.
Tyler,
but he still should have caught the football.
Sure. Well, Tyler got a hand. Of course, a quarterback's going to say that.
Exactly. I did 95% of it. You got to do 5%.
2nd and 10. Lejeune goes up top far sideline into double coverage, and probably best that it's overthrown down by the 20 of Easton.
Well, I will tell you, this kid Lejeune is a real deal. Obviously, on the next level, he will have help to get better. But right now, tonight, this game is not working out into his favor. But the talent is there. I've seen both of these guys at the Tulane football camp, and I will tell you, those guys got bright futures ahead of them.
Lejeune, just a junior, was on LSU's campus apparently last week.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that as more and more big-time schools are interested in him. Pass knocked down as they were trying to set up the screen with the rollout left and the throwback, or excuse me, to the right, throwback to the left. And Ronell Burbank has been active tonight. The McNeese State commitment, a senior, has made some plays. That time the deflection to break up the screen.
And again, we was talking, Jules, about opportunities for these kids to go to the next level. And we have a multitude of kids having an opportunity to get to the next level. And because the talent pool in South Louisiana is great. And I'm glad that these kids are getting opportunities to go to the next level academically as well as play football, which is one of their dreams.
And in just New Orleans, you talk about Carr and Landry Walker just in Algiers alone, talent on the West Bank. John Arrett having a fantastic program, and clearly what Easton's been able to do in recent years. This Lejeune putting on a show again in space to buy time and throw one up for grabs, and it's incomplete down by the 10-yard line. And that is some of the improv work of Lejeune to give himself a chance to make a play downfield. But again, Carr, even that long in coverage, in position.
Very much so, and 3 men deep. But again, the receiver sometimes will have to work with the quarterback. At that time, he was just throwing up a prayer. Hopefully, their guys will come down with the football. And obviously, incompletion.
Sticks Jones, the intended target there.
But he was covered very much so.
And with the turnover on downs, another chance for Carr, as they'll have a quick snap here running up to the line, and Perry will keep and have some room left side inside the 35.
That was a fast third quarter, Julius.
Really has been, and it's no surprise. Carr's really kept the ball on the ground, put together another short scoring drive, and since then keeping it simple as they should, but showing a little wrinkle here now as they're coming off the ball and then running up to the line of scrimmage, setting quickly for the snap. And this is just giving opponents something else to prepare for. You know, one eye on the future for a guy in Bryce Brown, just his 3rd year, but 2 amazing seasons under his belt, including the state title last year. What he's done with this program, keeping the ball rolling, has been phenomenal, as Perry will keep and follow his lead back inside the 30.
Changing quarterbacks here.
So we do have a change of quarterback. And some work going the way of Damian Tate.
So, go to show you their depth at the quarterback position, and Tate doesn't look like a slouch at all. especially in a cleanup situation right here. But
And they've tried to use Tate as a return man and put the ball in his hands. Now we see him throw the lefty complete inside the 20.
wow.
And room to run. And pretty impressive job there by Calfani Simmons. As Carr's on the move again.
And Tate looks like a natural back there as a quarterback.
Tate hasn't had much work, but it was last week 0 for 2, so his first completion of the season there to Simmons, and that's important for the needs of what happens if we lose Skylar Perry.
Exactly, and Carr right now is utilizing what they have in terms of depth, especially at quarterback, which is so important position, and especially in these run-pass option offenses, because everybody is getting hit, quarterback, receivers, and so to have a two deep threat in terms of quarterbacks with athletic ability, that's a plus in for Carr all the way around on offense.
Not sure about the availability of the guy who's taken the snaps as the second-string quarterback, as we have this delay for an injury. But Joseph Edwards was 22 of 31 this year, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's had some great success this season as the injured. We'll wait to see what's going on here with the decision. And we have a bit more of a delay before we get back to action.
Well, this game has turned out to be the opposite than
exactly. That's what happens. Sometimes you hype a game up so much, Terrence, and you get the exact opposite. Just a phenomenal one-sided affair tonight.
Exactly. Carr jumped on him early and never took the pedal, let up on the pedal.
So Perry in a quarterback, and we have a delay with the action. I wonder if it has to do with the play clock. It is going to be a delay of game. You hate to see that after a timeout, but they'll mark it off 5 yards, and now Carr will have to readjust. They don't even know where the football is. It will be marked at the 18-yard line. So Perry in there. And Arnie Jackson, the back to his left, as Carr sticking with their starters here. Got a bit of a mis-ID a moment ago, as Perry will keep and take a hit at the line of scrimmage, but hop up quickly.
Carr needs a turnover here. I'm sorry, Easton needs a turnover here. A few series ago was definitely need a turnover to get something out of this. The clock is not their favorite friend right now. Definitely Carr's friend. Carr utilizing every second that they can. They're snapping the ball at the 5-second mark of the play clock.
And time management with a lead is something they have a great deal of experience with, but another part of the ability to make deep runs in the postseason, putting away teams. As the handoff will go to Antoine, and he'll fall forward inside the 15, brought down at about the 14-yard line, setting up third, and about 10 yards to go. Good surge initially up front for the line. All the pieces in place, the guys that you want, with an experienced quarterback in Perry and the Jackson-Antoine combo in the backfield. Helps with the clock management, but this time a flag on the play.
Not only will it help with, obviously we're talking about the clock management right here, Jules, but it also helps with putting pressure on the opposing team's defense, because now you have to come for not only quarterback, but a good tandem at running back as well. And those are especially down towards this part of the season when you want to manage football games offensively. And on defense, you got to give them something to think about. I'm always a believer in offense. You dictate to the defense regardless of down and distance, as opposed to them dictating to you. And you always keep them on their heels by doing that.
Timeout from the Carr sideline was actually the reason for the stoppage in play. Carr has one timeout remaining. Not that it'll be terribly important here with a 33-6 lead. we'll have playoff volleyball action here on CrescentCitySports.com on Saturday at 11 a.m. as Woodlawn takes on Cabrini on the campus of Cabrini. Again, that's 11 a.m. Emmanuel Peppis will have the call of the action. Second round of the playoffs in Division II. Cabrini, the number 2 seed, hoping to make a run to the Pontchartrain Center and win it all. Woodlawn with an upset.
Can I make a plug?
Yeah, go ahead.
My daughter's a sophomore at Mount Carmel. They play Ponchatoula at 2 o'clock on Saturday.
Another program that's used to playing in the Pontchartrain Center, competing for state titles. Third and 10. Perry fakes, throws over the middle. Had his man open. Overshot Michael Corner at the goal line.
Have you seen the blitz spot? Even now, I mean, there's no desperation on their part, you know?
Injured Eagle on the field, kind of dragging his leg behind him at around the 20-yard line, as we've seen a couple players go down here over the course of the second half, and reaching for his left leg. Damani Burrell, a defensive tackle. So we'll see if that's more of a cramp, and it looks like it is, and that's always the best sign with a lower leg issue, as he will be stretched out here with the clock stopped with 8:04 to go. And yeah, it has been interesting that Easton hasn't been willing to take more chances defensively tonight, Terrence.
That's kind of strange. I mean, given early on when the game was manageable in terms of catching up, they did not get exotic in terms of weak-sided blitzes with their linebackers or their corners. And on the opposite side, you have Carr early in the game. They was bringing people exotically in terms of blitzes from the weak side, as well as the linebacker position, which forced Easton to do something out of the ordinary. And that's what you want to do. You want to give different look defensively, so you force your offense. Even though you have great quarterbacks, skilled players at both teams, but you still want to force them to do things that they normally was not prepared for.
We've seen Carr willing to show exotic looks and have a great deal of success doing so. And that's been part of their success tonight. As early on, Carr took total command and built a 27-0 lead. Easton's only score coming late, final minute of the first half. Skylar Perry, the star, 3 touchdown runs this evening. And obviously, if you're Carr, you're rolling at this point late in the season. 6 wins in a row. Tons and tons of confidence as they'll go for it on 4th down. And Perry will be under pressure, jump and throw, and it would have been far short of the first down anyway, as that time Easton able to bring plenty of pressure. And maybe a little bit of a shove there late on the play, but the pressure and a nice job by Easton and Kyron Givens, who's been kind of quiet man tonight, leading tackler for the team, over 10 tackles for loss this season, that time able to apply the pressure to force the turnover on downs. But the trenches have belonged to Edna Carr on both sides of the ball.
Normally you would game plan against opposing team defense star player, and it appears that way tonight. And so what needs to happen now, I guess, again, go back to the drawing board, see what worked, what did not work, and just build off of. There's some silver linings here, believe it or not, guys, but they just have to find it.
Pass out of the backfield near sideline, and again overthrown. Lejean, who had time. And he's overshot targets a couple times tonight. That was Barabino out of the backfield.
And again, some of those plays have to be made by both the quarterback and the running back if you're going to be successful.
These two programs with so much respect for one another, and it was pointed out in the pregame, ties that bind on the Easton staff. We'll talk about a couple of assistants with Carr size, as Lejean running left and throwing.
That play, on that play, the receiver came back to the football.
And that's the most difficult throw you can make, Terrence, as a right-handed quarterback, and it was a very good one to the 33-yard line.
It shows his athleticism and his ability to extend plays. Lejean, the quarterback.
Munchie Lego, a former Carr star quarterback and nephew of Easton head coach Jerry Phillips, also a Carr alum, a player on that Tulane undefeated 1998 team. So plenty of Carr ties there. Yeah. And under pressure, Lejean will roll to his right.
There you go, right there.
And throws, and accurate pass, but they're going to say, I think, that he was out of bounds. And, yes, not able to get a foot in on the play. Jewel Holmes, a sophomore.
Holding and bringing it back.
So that will be marched off. Noel Ellis, another Tulane name, and a guy who's a Carr alum who's come over on this coaching staff for Jerry Phillips from Carr, coaching the defensive line.
Had a chance to visit with him before the game, and he was also talking about how the experience factor may play, and he's proved right tonight.
Look, there are no secrets between these two programs. They know each other extremely well. And you mentioned the positives of a situation like this if you're Warren Easton. You're going to learn from this. And if there is a rematch, Carr will have to fight a little bit of overconfidence.
Exactly.
And Easton has the teaching points on their coaching staff to get better.
And I'm sure they're going to see some things on film that they could have implemented during the game that they did not.
From their own 10-yard line, 1st and a mile, Lejean in deep, deep trouble, and he'll be sacked. In a bad situation on this possession gets even worse. Loss of 5 on the play. The first down marker is at the 43-yard line. It'll be second down from the 5. Terrence, what's your second and 38 call
here? Actually, I don't have a play that'll reach to Delgado's campus right now, because that's how long they have to.
That's right. We need to get over to Kerr Rooney to where Delgado plays baseball at this point if you're the Easton offense. We'll call it second and a short 38.
Very short.
From the 5-yard line. Lejean will take the snap in his own end zone, and Carr will probably back off here into a zone.
Yes.
But brings some pressure. Unblocked, and now Lejean able to get away again from one defender. Throws again running to his left and accurately, and shows off that great talent complete and buys some breathing room for Easton.
Whoever get this guy, they're going to get a jewel because he is talented. You know, if a kid can roll to his opposite side and be accurate with the football, that is something special. And Lejean has that ability. And unfortunately tonight, he's going to end up on the losing end.
I really need a complaints department for these numbers. I know it was an issue for a previous webcast here. It's awfully difficult with those two-tone looks. If you don't see them from the back, it's hard to read from the front. Probably easier for the webcast from where we are in the big press box at Tad Gormley. As it's 3rd and 18 from the 25, and a whistle will stop play again. And a pre-snap penalty going against Easton. Team as good as Easton being handled by Carr tonight. It may tell you what the gap is now between Carr and everybody else in 4A going into the postseason. Last few years, it's been Neville, and that was the hump Carr needed to get over late in the postseason. Neville looks to have dropped off a little bit, but don't count them out once the playoffs start, as now Lejean is sacked under heavy pressure again at his 5-yard line. That time, the pump fake throw was not able to buy him extra breathing space, and Carr just keeps on coming, and this time the sack by Austin Kent.
Well, to your point, this is eye-popping in terms of the loss, the degree of the loss in terms of point spreads. But however, again, this is a game tonight that Easton will utilize, should I should say, utilize and build off of, because there are some things they could have done tonight. And the coaches, their experienced staff, they're going to go back to the drawing board and look at some things that they could have implemented for the upcoming game in a few weeks.
Punting from the 5, a line drive that'll bounce, and not even taking a chance. Devin Bush, no need to let it roll, and it'll go dead at the 48-yard line with 5:32 left. I think it's interesting as well when we saw the explosion of the spread offense on the college level naturally trickle down to college, the high school level as well. And now so many teams run it that we've seen these games normalize. And hey, talented teams are going to score a lot of points no matter what system they run. But it's easier to prepare because you're seeing it so much. This comes down to, like normally, execution and talent.
Exactly, because you know it's coming. And the exotic part about it is you put your formation the way you want to put it on the field, either strong side or short side, but you will run the jet sweep. You will run the bubble screen. As you just mentioned, you have to stop the play because it is coming. And you have to have athletes on the other side of the football field in terms of defense to counter these offensive guys, because these offensive guys nowadays, I mean, you got to have an athlete at quarterback to be successful. Not all the time, but for the most part to run these type of offense. And have to have playmakers in the backfield.
Looked like an illegal formation call against Easton, so they'll have to punt it again now from inside their 3-yard line. A little interesting that Carr will even make them do so. They don't bring pressure again, and this time looking to return. This is why Devin Bush. Line drive gave him plenty of running space as he's inside the 20, and Carr gains nearly 30 yards of field position on the penalty.
Unbelievable. No, the yards they don't really need, but I will take it as a football coach and the football team. But however, these are the type of lopsided games that you use for teachable moments for your young players, a la Easton. But at the same time, use it in a way to add to what you're already doing. Okay, they lost this game off of a few big plays in the first half. And from that point on, it snowballed because, again, the game is 95% mental. And the Carr won the mental game early on.
And you learn much more from a mistake that costs you 30 yards in field position, even in the fourth quarter. Once the film is on and the players look at it, they're going to have to respond and not let it go as, well, the game was over anyway. Both of these teams playing starters well into the fourth quarter, and a game that Carr has had command of here the entire second half as Jackson with a run for 5 on first down, and the clock continues to roll as Carr looks for more.
More self-inflicted wounds on the Eastern side of football, and it proves dividends for Carr, unfortunately for Easton.
It is interesting just to look at the power ratings, or the projected power ratings moving forward, as Perry hunting another touchdown run, able to gain inside the 10 near sideline down to the 9. 6 yards, first and goal for Carr, but looking at it, Carr will move up in the power rankings. Lakeshore has a chance with a matchup in the regular season finale against Salmon to help their power ratings, as Salmon is a top 10 team as well with the defeat. Lakeshore is undefeated. Benton at the top of the power ratings now, but their strength of schedule not quite with these other schools. But I tell you what, there is a big talent gap, I think, between Carr and everybody else, and we're seeing some of it tonight.
And it's going to prove dividend as the playoff starts, where you're seated at. And it's so important because you want to get that sweet spot in the first round of playoffs. Every team wants looking for that sweet spot in terms of brackets.
Carr, you'll know who they face early on, but it's not going to be a task welcomed by their opponent, seated down in the 30 to 32 range, depending on how the power ratings shake out, as another run by Perry gains 4, second and goal for Carr, as clock keeps rolling and Carr tries to execute and tack on one more score. Will Perry have an opportunity for his 4th, as we see the running to the line, quick snap, and a whistle comes.
Delay of game.
So they're not able to get the play off in time. An interesting way to run the clock between plays there to try that particular formation.
Well,
at least you very little margin for error.
Exactly, and what they're trying to do here, Carr's offenses and the coaching staff, is they're trying to get out of here injury-free, major injuries. But unfortunately for them, they're getting caught when they actually have to run the play. So they got to leave themselves 5 seconds at least to get the ball off.
Guys up front don't want to have to stand over the ball for 20-plus seconds before snapping it. So I get the concept, but it does create more potential for error, as Carr will keep it on the ground, this time with a handoff the left side back.
Bubbles without this helmet again.
And a flag comes down, and I don't know if it was
players stopping each other.
Yeah. And then
teammates are getting into it. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you see Easton frustrated with each other, and poise, composure in this situation. You know they wanted to win bad tonight, but you don't want to go out like this if you're a very good Warren Easton team.
Not at all. Frustrations are mounting.
So Bubble Gum will go to the sidelines here. And we'll wait for the ball to be spotted after the penalty. just inside the 5-yard line. And the clock will start back up again as Carr will be very glad to let that play clock run down a little bit now. Looking like they're wanting to hurry a little bit, perhaps catch Easton off guard, and it will be a keeper for Perry, and Perry will take it in for a touchdown. Number 4 tonight for senior quarterback Skylar Perry. A monster game and a monster matchup. The night belongs to Perry and the Cougars.
And you said it right, Jules. Monster performance by Perry and the whole Carr offensive side of football and defense. I mean, they limited Easton in terms of what they can and could not do. And on the other side of the coin, Jules, Easton did not put any pressure on Carr's defense in terms of blitzes. They did not get exotic in terms of giving Perry different looks. And so they did what they wanted to do at will, and it's proved fatal for Easton.
Perry now with 10 touchdown runs on the year with the quartet of them this evening. That one from 5 yards out. And a great capper to his regular season. And for his Carr teammates as a good hold on a bad snap. Somehow, some way it went through. Good poise there as Carr makes it 40-6 with 2:29 to go here on CrescentCitySports.com from Tad Gormley Stadium. I'm sure a lot of folks around the state were curious to see how this game would play out. I'm sure a lot of people who are recruiting were curious to see how this matchup worked out tonight. And I think it has to be a surprise that Carr has been so dominant.
You took the words right exactly out of my mouth. I was about to say the same thing. Nobody expects this lopsided of a victory. But again, the game was won in the first half, roughly the second quarter. Late in the first quarter when these miscues on the Easton's part, and Carr took advantage of them, and interception, their long run, and those things early on. And when the game is so emotional, and then the players know each other, the coaches know each other, there's a lot at stake, very small room for error, and Easton to produce the errors, and Carr capitalized, and here we are, 40-6, Carr favor.
And Easton will learn to deal with the hype of a big game week and the emotions of the game. What we saw is a Carr team that simply out-executed them tonight, a team much more comfortable in these type of situations over the past 2 or 3 seasons, and both will learn quite a bit about themselves. I'm sure Carr awfully confident that they will get themselves back into the dome again. If they play anything like this, it's hard to imagine they won't be able to, as Foster will look to kick it away. And we play out the string in City Park.
If Perry can stay healthy, Carr has a chance to repeat, or at least go.
Pooch kick will again be allowed to hit the turf and able to pick it up on a bounce.
He got
Damian Tate, the right man in the spot in a situation like that, but
bringing it back.
Goes to the left side of the field.
Flags on the ground.
Down to the 31.
Let's hope that this game can end clean.
Sure.
Because right now emotions are flying, and nobody should get any injuries here. Hopefully the referees are doing a great job all night to keep this game very clean here towards the end.
I think so. And we haven't seen dirty play for the most part tonight. We've seen some frustrations boiling over a little bit. Guys perhaps saying a wrong word or two. But for the most part, considering how big of a matchup it was, you see 2 well-coached football teams and classy coaching staffs.
Exactly.
Can't say enough about Jerry Phillips at Easton and, of course, Bryce Brown at Carr. Programs that, hey, look, big games like this, if you're not emotional, if you're not fired up, you're not human. So that's hard to control for teenage guys out there that want to win so badly.
And talking to both of the coaches before the game, they both look calm. They both look focused. They set the tone, obviously, for your teams. Now, again, unfortunately, Carr had the upper end of big plays, and that set the tone for the football game the rest of the way.
So 2 personal fouls signaled against Easton as the ball will be marked inside the 20. Looks like they'll spot it down at about the 17. And again, I guarantee you that as much as Jerry Phillips and his staff are going to be upset about being outplayed, it's these personal fouls in the second half that they will stress first and foremost, as Easton will have to take this as a moment of a challenge to their maturity and growing up.
These are not assignment busts.
Yeah.
These are mental aspects of a game that you need to control your emotions because you're going to have these type of games. That's part of the maturity factor.
So they did march off both penalties, so spotted inside the 10, and now I think Easton's ready to get out of here as well. They'll run the football, and the clock will tick inside 2 minutes. I want to thank the Merritts. Chip Merritt has done a great job producing many of our broadcasts this evening, and Matt Merritt, all season long, I should say, and Matt Merritt doing a great job on the camera as he's done throughout most of this inaugural season of CrescentCitySports.com prep football, and we'll have playoff action coming at you next Friday to be announced as well as another running play for Easton. We'll shorten the length of this game as Barabino with a couple of totes here in the final couple minutes. Something to watch, Terrence, that you might find intriguing. Based on some of the way the power rankings are laying out, there's this sleeping giant that's gotten better throughout the season after a slow start. They're called Lutcher. And it's possible one of these two teams could end up matched up against the Lutcher Bulldogs in round number 2. That might intrigue you a little bit.
Well, Coach Dwayne is early on that we was finding ourselves. It seemed like we hit a pretty good groove there lately, and I'm hoping that groove could continue towards this stretch of the game, our season, because we have history. So once we get close, sometimes on the high school level, your history as a team plays into the other team's psychic as well.
I think we saw a little bit of the recent history tonight working for Carr. Dwayne Jenkins doing an outstanding job at Lutcher, coming over from rival St. James. Of course, ties that bind in that parish, as you know also.
And how often is that happening? I mean, it's such a small community.
But a friendly rivalry and a respect-filled rivalry.
Exactly, much like we've seen tonight. And you know, the only thing that separates us, Lutcher and St. James, is the mighty Mississippi. And they had the better half of us this year. So again,
a great game on Crescent City Sports that you were a part of, 13-7.
Lenny and I called that game, and I thank him and thank you guys for asking me to do so. It was a great moment, and I was super excited.
Went with a running clock in the final minute, even after the incomplete pass.
Wow.
And this one will end at 40-6 for Edna Carr. And Skylar Perry, the Cougar senior quarterback, the star of the night with 4 touchdowns. But there were plenty of stars all over the Carr defense as well. They won the special teams battle with a block punt for a touchdown. Tip your cap to the Cougars. They're the champ of District 9 4A again. They're the defending champ in Class 4A, and they looked every bit the part tonight.
Well, you would expect that from an experienced bunch. They committed a few turnovers. They made a few miscues. Emotionally, they was into the game. They did not have a lot of penalties against them. And their quarterback did what he was supposed to do as a senior. He led them. He managed the game offensively. And a lot of times what happens is when your offense picks up your slack, your defense usually follows suit.
Sure.
So therefore, there was a total team effort by the Carr Cougars tonight. And unfortunately for Easton, they did not bring their lunch bucket to the game today, and so. But again, teachable moments for Easton, and they will, I'm sure the coaches, as you mentioned, Jerry's an excellent young coach, and they will go back to the drawing board and fix whatever will happen tonight that did not happen.
Carr improved to 9-1 on the year. They've won 7 straight. Warren Easton has their 4-game win streak snapped. They fall to 7-2 on the year. Edna Carr, champions of District 9 4A. Both teams will await the brackets coming out on Sunday for the Class 4A playoffs and all the other 8 brackets as teams try to reach the Dome in the state. We will have playoff football action to be announced on some location on Friday night here on CrescentCitySports.com. And we again remind you, volleyball, high school playoff second round, Division II on Saturday at 11 a.m. It'll be Cabrini hosting Woodlawn, a 2 versus 18 seed matchup with Emmanuel Peppis on the call. Again, thank you, Terrence. Final thoughts on the night, sir.
Well, thank you, Jules, for having me, and nice meeting you.
Pleasure's mine.
And I'm excited to have these opportunities to call these games on this side of the football at this point in my career. But tonight, again, 2 powerhouse teams knowing each other, stars on offense, stars on defense, definitely stars at the quarterback position with the type of offense that was ran tonight. The run-pass option is in effect, and it's been in effect for quite some number of years now. And the key to it is to get you a star quarterback with athleticism. And both teams have that. Unfortunately for Easton, Carr was able to utilize their weapon just a tad bit more and than Easton did. And so the end result was the teams who were more focused and committed to few amount of turnovers came out victorious.
And that means they can both look forward to the second season, the playoffs starting next week. I'm Jude Young signing off for CrescentCitySports.com. Again, the final, Edna Carr wins it 40-6 over Warren Easton here from City Park. Good night and enjoy the rest of your football weekend.